Be another one that even comes close to it.
Billy Cannon watches it bounce. He takes it on his own 11. He comes back upfield to the 15, stumbles momentarily. He's at the 20, running hard at the 25, gets away from one man to 30.
They call it the fun and gun. If you had one that averaged over 500 yards a ball game, you'd call it fun and gun too, wouldn't you?
A lot of fun. But it's a mirage offense because they want to make you think they're throwing a football, and they are. But where they really hurt you is running the draw with Eric Brett, throwing delays to him, screens to him, flares out of the back, that he really hurts you.
Man, another order for Adrian.
Well, you guys are right. Red is a hero, but what about the unsung hero? Chris Doring, wide out from Florida. Here's a guy, sophomore walk-on, in only his second start, scores 3 touchdowns against Mississippi State. Spurrier rewards him with a scholarship. They're going to make a movie about this guy.
Werfel dropping back to throw, pumps and fires the ball over the middle. It's Doring! It's Doring! Got a touchdown! Doring got a touchdown!
They're 4-0, I give them that, but they can be beaten on any given night. And coming into Death Valley is going to be, they're going to catch hell.
Hey, guys, if they upset him here, it's going to be party time in Baton Rouge.
ESPN's presentation of CFA is brought to you by Russell Athletic, an official supplier for the NFL, Major League Baseball, and most major college and high school teams. And by Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Subway steak and cheese sub with a medium soft drink. You can get a regular 6-inch sub for 99 cents. Just a penny less to the bar.
The steak and cheese sub at Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Well, at least they get a meal on this flight.
Some credit cards charge fat interest rates, but not Discover Card. With Smart Rate, the more you use your Discover Card for purchases, the lower your interest rate can be. Now as low as 14.9%. It pays to Discover.
Place on earth that I'd rather be than out in the open where it's all plain to see. If it's gonna get done, it's up to you and me. Come on and head for the mountains of Bush. Come on and head for the mountains of Bush. Yeah.
Well, tonight what you're looking at, Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Some call it Death Valley, as the number 5 Florida Gators come calling against the hometown LSU Tigers. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin along with Mike Gottfried, and welcome once again to CFA Primetime here on ESPN. Mike, the Gators are 5-0. The LSU Tigers out of the gate struggling just a little bit, but the first question that all the Tiger fans want to know tonight is, do they have a realistic chance against the Florida Gators tonight?
Ron, I think they do, and the reason I think they do is because Florida is a finesse football team, and their quarterback's a redshirt freshman quarterback making his first road start, Danny Werfel. So they're not like Nebraska where they can physically punch you. If you can throw them out of kilter a little bit, then you got a shot at them. Jamie Howard, the quarterback for LSU, has to have a good night, and they have to get the ball to Eddie Kinnison, the fine wide receiver.
Well, Florida ranked number 5 in the nation. They are undefeated, but they have given up not only some yardage, they've given up some big plays, as was the case last week against Mississippi State. And I guess the question that Gator fans are asking is just how good is this Florida team?
I think Florida's a good football team, but they have given up the big plays. LSU has to take advantage of that.
Well, let's go down to the field. Adrian Karsten is standing by there. Adrian?
All right, Ron. Well, you know, during his 3 years of running for the Gators, almost no one could catch Emmitt Smith. But now, you know what? Eric Rett may be hot on his heels. Coming in tonight's game, look at the numbers. Only 541 yards behind Smith's rushing record. He's already caught more passes in the history of Florida football than any back. And what's more than any back in SEC football history, he has rushed for 3,000 yards and caught 120 passes in a career.
All right, Adrian, as we look across the way at Steve Spurrier, 4th season at Florida, 32-8, this season 4-0. And his counterpart, Curly Holman, 3rd season at LSU, this year 2-3, and boy, would this be a big one tonight. Herkamp has it teed up at the 35-yard line as LSU prepares to kick this one off. As you look at Herkamp, number 10, Harrison Houston and Jack Jackson back in a dual safety for the Gators. Houston from the 2. it big all the way out to the 32-yard line. It's a 29-yard return. And here are the starting lineups brought to you by Russell Athletic. For the Florida Gators, Danny Werfel, redshirt freshman. There is no longer a quarterback controversy. Threw for 449 yards last week. The wide receivers, they're very good ones. 22, Willie Jackson, following in the footsteps of his father, who also was a great Gator. And up front with the offensive line, Reggie Green, only a sophomore. This is a fine pass-protecting offensive line for the Gators. First down. He'll take it for 5 yards. Calais and Ricardo Washington combining on the stop. And let's take a look at the starters for the Tigers tonight on the defensive side of the ball. And they're 4-3. Corey White, his responsibility tonight, he's good at the pass rush, but he has to keep an eye on Eric Redd. He can't be fooled with a draw. The linebackers, Ricardo Washington leads the team in tackles. And in the secondary, Anthony Marshall, look for number 14, a senior from Mobile, a very tough free safety. He's the quarterback in that secondary. Wolford going to go up on top. Receiver fell down. Almost intercepted Anthony Marshall, the man we were just talking about. And it's going to be third down for the Gators.
Ron, Anthony Marshall sat out the last years, and he was anxious to get back. He told me the other day when I arrived here in the locker room that he was so anxious once he got started playing again that he was making mistakes. He said, now I can relax a little bit and enjoy the game.
It's Aubrey Hill, number 82, a junior from Miami, who comes into the lineup. You also can see number 1, Jack Jackson, sophomore wide receiver out of Moss Point, Mississippi. Third down, the line to make the 42. LSU coming with the blitz. Gets it away. Incomplete because of the contact, and that is very good defense. And again, it's Anthony Marshall.
Now, Ron, this is what you need if you're going to pull an upset. You need the first series for your defense to gain some confidence against a good passing team. Now you need some confidence for your offensive football team.
Mike, number 2 in the nation, Eddie Kinnison, very young. Look at this average, almost 20 yards per return. Against the nation's leading punter, 45.3, quite a matchup. 15 punts for him. Good view from the end zone camera. Good hanging coverage kick. Kinnison makes the catch, and the flag will come down. Didn't give him the 2 yards, Mike. Lawrence Wright is the man who was there. It's a 43-yard punt. And let's check with Jimmy Harper and see what the call is.
We have a violation of the 2-yard buffer zone. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's 1st and 10.
So let's take a look at the lineups for the LSU Tigers. On offense tonight, he's a professional pitcher. You can do both now, according to the NCAA out of Lafayette. It's Jamie Howard. Very strong arm. Wide receiver, just the man we saw just a moment ago, Eddie Kinnison. And up front, the offensive line, Kevin Mawai, the center. He's played every position on the offensive front. All conference, some people's All-American. Throw on first down, and he'll have Besh, number 87. Defensively for the Florida Gators, here's the way they line up in a 4-3. William Gaines, number 94. Missed all of last year with a knee injury. He's already got 9 quarterback hurries this year, 14 big plays. Dexter Daniels, tough linebacker in the middle, leads the team in tackles. And in the secondary is the man they called the Gatorback, number 10, Monty Groh, has started now 17 straight games after missing the year before last. Outside, has the first down. The LSU Tiger fans respond as he pushes the ball across the 42.
Ron, it's a little early to start talking about upset, but I'm telling you, the ingredients are here tonight. You got a nice crowd that's very active. You got a football team that looks like they're really fired up, and you've got a team like Florida who plays an 8-man front. LSU has to throw the ball on first down. I think that when you play an 8-man front team, you have to loosen them up. Throw the ball on first down.
Florida, very good football team last year. LSU played them off their feet in 1992. Short drop, nothing here. A nice job of scrambling by Howard. Ellis Johnson finally makes the tackle just at the 45, maybe the 46-yard line.
Ron Zook, the defensive coordinator for Florida, talked about Jamie Howard. He said, we faced Heath Schuler. He's the best we faced, but Jamie Howard has the same kind of arm, and we cannot let him get outside. He's a good runner.
Glenn Amity said on the practice field on Thursday, as you look at Ron Zook, the defensive coordinator for the Gators, Glenn Amity said that the biggest problem with a guy like Howard is he has such a strong arm. They need to make him also take advantage of the short stuff. Everything doesn't have to be a muscle grip. They set the screen near side to Johnson. A lot of running room. Inside the 40 to the 39, Larry Kennedy finally makes the stop, but it is an LSU first down plus 11.
What sets the screen up is the quarterback, Jamie Howard. Starts his drop and invites the lineman in. Now watch him drop a little bit further. Now drop the ball off to Jay Johnson. Invite the defensive lineman in. Now get your offensive lineman ahead of your tailback, Jay Johnson. Good series, good calls by Lynn Amity, the offensive coordinator. Very important that LSU scores in this first drive.
And the one-back set. Johnson tripped up at the line of scrimmage, fights forward for a couple. William Gaines, the senior from Jackson, Mississippi, comes up to make the hit for Florida, along with Ben Hanks. Jay Johnson, a sophomore from Waco, Texas, and the one thing that every coach that you talk to says about him, work habit, great work ethic, and it's one of the reasons that Robert Davis, who was so heralded here just a year ago, is not in the starting unit.
They'll play 4 tailbacks, Ron, but you're right. Robert Davis is the 4th one.
Johnson again bounces it outside. 35 at the 30, and finally going to be tackled inside the 25-yard line by Eddie Lake. 17 yards on the carry.
Ron, a pretty good job of formationing the 8-man front. Now, see, they're spreading them out, but you're going to watch the tight end here. He's going to come in underneath and make the key block. They're spreading out Florida, making them think it's going to be a pass, and then they get the block by Harold Bishop, the tight end, and now pick up good yardage with Jay Johnson.
Johnson gets a breather. David Butler will come in at tailback. Number 40, he's a sophomore. You could see number 11 come untouched from that right side, and all of a sudden LSU scrimmages with a second down and long.
Curly Hallman, Ron, here at LSU, they've had 5 coaches since 1979. They've only averaged 2.8 years on the job, and they've had 4 ADs in the last 15 years, so they've had a big turnover here since 1979.
Well, Amity is in here now as the offensive coordinator, so that's another system. 2 in the last 2 years. Jermaine Williams is the setback. He's in there to block this time, though, as they roll the pocket. Now throws it back against the grain and has it complete to Wilson, and Shedrick Wilson will be tackled just short of the first down. It's going to be a 3rd down and 2.
Again, what Lynn Amity's doing on offense to Florida, he's bringing everything in tight. A tight formation, and he has 1 receiver. Here's Shedrick Wilson, number 6. So he's forcing Florida into a one-on-one coverage. That's Larry Kennedy. But Jamie Howard really makes this play because he buys some time for Shedrick Wilson to get open.
Number 10, Monty Grove, came over to make the play defensively. 3rd down, line to make is the 11. Pitch to Jermaine Williams, and the fullback puts a head down, will be denied. Going to be a yard short. Wright and Robinson, along with Henry McMillan, on the stop for the Gators. Mike, do you go for it this early? Or
That's an interesting call. I would take the field goal. But you're going to need some points against this Florida team. But it's important on the first drive to score some points, keep the crowd in this thing, give your defense a boost when they come back on the field that they have the lead.
On Andre LaFleur will come on 9 of 11, 82%, his longest 49. Loop to hole. The ball will be spotted at the 20. He's got it. LaFleur with the field goal, and the LSU Tigers jump on top. Let's take a break.
You know, there's one thing that most sporting events have in common. When you see this R, the player's wearing a Russell Athletic NFL Pro Line jersey. Hi, Warren.
Hey, Joe.
Russell Athletic is also the official uniform supplier of Major League Baseball. They even outfit most major college and high school teams. In fact, Russell Athletic even makes great sweats and tees for the rest of us. Unfortunately, not everybody's gotten to work.
Russell Athletic. It's everything we make that makes our sweats and tees so great.
Can you find the Oldsmobile in this picture? We'll give you another try. Here's a hint. It's competition red, has four-wheel anti-lock brakes, and a hot V6 engine. It's the Achieva Sport Coupe. Surprise? It's your money.
This quality time was made possible by GMAC. With financing and leasing that can be arranged for your new GM vehicle fast, right at the dealership. Because GMAC believes you should be out enjoying your new car instead of waiting for it to be financed. GMAC, the expressway home.
ESPN's presentation of CFA is brought to you by Oldsmobile and by GMAC Financial Services, the expressway home.
Y.A. Tittle. Yelverton Abraham Tittle. No wonder he went by Y.A. He was a quarterback here at LSU 1944 through 1947. Still ranks number 6 on the all-time passing list. And Mike, something tells me that the folks at the Lone Star State were not pleased with LSU because they thought he was going to Austin, and they walked over there and just plucked him out of there. Harrison Houston and Jack Jackson back in a dual safety for the Florida Gators as you look at Matt Herkamp. Line drive this time, and it's Jackson. Jack Jackson gets outside, pushed out of bounds around the 38-yard line.
LSU special teams giving up too much yardage on kick returns.
There's your scoring drive. 9 plays, 61 yards, 4:39 the time. The distribution, 6 runs and 3 passes, and LaFleur kicks the field goal. They say officially 29 yards. Bilkey and Rett, the setbacks for the Gators. Rett. He's going to have 3, maybe 4. That's Nate Miller, number 98, holding on to him.
Ron, I talked to Steve Spurrier at the beginning of the week about Danny Werfel as quarterback, and he said he's really special. He's had a 4-point every semester he's been at Florida, devout Christian. He said he's got faith, school, football, feels no pressure, and he said he tries to do it just like you coach it.
That's almost better than you might try to order, isn't it?
Very high on him.
Got it complete just inside the 45-yard line. Harrison Houston. Well, 2 career starts, 58%, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns.
We need a new crib.
15 yards in the pass completion. Play action again. Werfel steps up to run. He's going to do it. Breaks 1 tackle and will be pushed out of bounds at the 38.
That's the other thing that the LSU coaches are worried about. Phil Bennett, the secondary coach here, told me that the difference between Shane Matthews and Danny Werfel is Danny Werfel will take off. But tell you who's open here, and he's been open the last 2 times, is Eric Rett. Danny Werfel just can't find him, but Eric Rett will eventually catch the ball right over the center, and he's wide open on the last two plays.
3-0 if you've just tuned in. LSU over Florida. Florida with their second offensive possession. Line of scrimmage is the 38. It is second down, and they need the 33. Reverse. Thompson. And Thomas. Whoa, what a lick. Dale Frazier, I beg your pardon, 25.
A good block. I don't know if it was a hold or not by Charlie Dean, number 86, against James Gilliard, number 7. Watches Darrell Frazier comes around. You're going to see at the end, number 7 is just completely blocked. But again, a good tackle in the secondary by Rodney Young.
Third down. Swings the pass to Rett. Has a blocker in front. Look out. Puts the head down, and he's finally bumped out of bounds just short of the 20 by Talby Crawford, but it's a gain of 15.
You count the ways tonight that Florida will try to get the ball to Eric Rett. Here, Danny Werfel's just throwing the flare pass to him. Now, all the receivers downfield are blocking. That's blocked from the start. This was a pass to Eric Rett from the get-go.
The draw, feeling his way, going to have 5 yards, close to the 15-yard line. Anthony Marshall from his free safety spot, and now this Gator drive beginning to get really good penetration. Jim Watson with a great block. He's a 3-year starter, number 73, the right guard.
Eric Rett can hurt you in so many ways. He blocks, he catches the football, he runs the football. He's at the center of all the attention of the Florida offense.
Players asking for noise. Rett off the left side, and he's going to have the first down. Let's go down and check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian.
Ron and Coach, keep your eye on the offensive backfield now for Florida. The word is if they go with a no back set, LSU is going to blitz like crazy. Going to bring those inside linebackers. They scouted them and found out that their offensive line may be a little bit soft against a blitz. They don't think they can protect as well.
Well, you're looking at Steve Spurrier. When you blitz his offense, you better be ready because everything's on timing. It's a precision pass. When that step's hit in the 5th step, they're throwing the football.
Rett on the draw. Missed tackle, and this one will be for sure, but it's inside the 5, and it's Anthony Marshall who is there. It's going to be a second down for the Florida Gators, and they can pick up the first without scoring.
This has been an Eric Rett drive. He's made all the key plays, but what makes it so effective on the draw, as you see the draw here, is that Florida linebackers have to play pass, and by the time that they are able to come up, they have to ward off to block the offensive lineman. That was Anthony Marshall, number 14, on the tackle.
Pitch to Rett. Bilkey in front with the block. Hit, and that is a great open field tackle. Anthony Marshall again.
Well, they're proud of him in Mobile, Alabama. He's 6'2", 205 pounds. And if he has a weaknesses, he comes up a little bit too quick on play action, and sometimes will get burnt in the secondary. But you see him, he's able to break down and make the tackle and bring Eric Rett down. Key play for LSU here. They've got to force Florida into the field goal.
And the Gators call a timeout. 5:07 left in this opening quarter. And let's take a break with them. Tigers lead 3-0.
LSU team in partnership with the LSU School of Medicine. The Baton Rouge General is a community-based teaching hospital. The Baton Rouge General Medical Center, an affiliate of the General Health System.
Can you find the Oldsmobile in this picture? We'll give you another try. Here's a hint. It's competition red, has 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, and and a hot V6 engine. It's the Achieva Sport Coupe. Surprise? It's your money.
Some people are naturally faster than others. In fact, everything they do is fast. Fast, 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 fast. Now, not everyone appreciates that. But if you're looking to get a new GM car or truck financed, fast is exactly what you want.
Mac will take care of your financing.
And the folks who arrange GMAC financing and leasing are faster than just about anyone else. GMAC, the expressway home.
You forgot your sunglasses. You are here. He has the traveler's checks here. That's no good. But this is American Express Checks for Two. The only traveler's checks that either of you can use. Don't leave home without them.
Announcing the biggest advance in Quaker State history. It's Quaker State's new advanced high-tech formula motor oil. Superior wear protection plus superior heat and stress protection. New advanced formula Quaker State. Formulated for today's high-tech engines.
Next Saturday, the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers tackle Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions. Live CFA football, Saturday, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN.
3-0. LSU leads with 5:07 to play in his opening quarter. And the Gators threatening. And the numbers on Eric Rett so far, well, he's been impressive. Average of 5, 4 carries, 20 yards.
Ron, this is the 10th play of the drive, so Florida's trying to answer the score of LSU.
Rett, the only setback. Pass hit, knocked down at the line of scrimmage. James Gilliard is the man who got a hand on it.
Steve Spurrier, he knows he's going to have a problem in here tonight checking off. Danny Werfel tried to check off. The noise was loud. He tried to check to the quick slant, and it was batted down by James Gilliard, number 7. Watch number 7, James Gilliard. The offensive line, you want him to fire out on the quick pass. Doesn't look like they got the same call because they were backpedaling a little bit in pass protection. Jason Oldham, number 74, may have missed the call.
Jed Davis with the field goal attempt. Good pass. Kick is up, and he's got it. And we're knotted. It is a 19-yard field goal. So Florida answers. 5:02 left in the opening quarter. We're tied.
Buying a Chevrolet is the right choice. Buying from the right dealer gives you the edge. At Dewey Barber Chevrolet, you have the edge on new Chevrolet cars and trucks. You'll get the right options, the best service, the lowest price, and the personal service that you want. I guarantee it. We have a large selection of used trucks and program cars in stock to save you money. So why pay more? Use your edge. Before you buy a car or truck, see Dewey Barber Chevrolet, just off I-65 North, exit 280 in Warrior.
Rescue me. Come take me in your arms. Rescue me. I want you tender charms. 'Cause I'm lonely and I'm blue. I need you. I need you. Come on and rescue me. HQ to the rescue.
HQ has the best prices on Krylon's quick dry lacquer and a wide selection of Thompson's exterior stains.
HQ to the rescue.
The Shooting Stars, Saturday, October 30th on pay-per-view. Undefeated Michael Carbajal puts his IBF and WBC light flyweight championship on the line against Domingo Sosa. Oscar De La Hoya continues his climb in the junior lightweight division. Plus, veteran Lupe Aquino squares off against Verno Phillips for the super welterweight crown. See it live on pay-per-view. Call your local cable operator.
3-3 our score. Just over 5 minutes left to play in what has been a very rapid opening quarter. And some of the crowd here at Tiger Stadium tonight. Not packed, but I'll tell you, they're very vocal as usual. Saturday nights in Baton Rouge seem to do that to folks in the Bayou. Big stand with the defense just a moment ago. James Gilliard, number 7, is the man who got the hand on the pass on 3rd down. This is Kinnison. Well, Eddie's going to learn that once you get ahead of steam, you can't stop and go the other direction in college.
Ron, on the quick game, usually you attack with your offensive lineman to get hands down. But Jason Olden's going to come back and allow James Gilliard, number 7, to hit that inside gap and to tip the football. So the quick game didn't work. And may have been the crowd noise. They may have not been able to pick up the check.
That's right into a huge part of the student section. You're right, Mike. Jamie Howard works at quarterback. Pitch for the Danville, Virginia Braves. That's a rookie league affiliate for the Atlanta Braves during the summer. Play action. Pressure, and he's not going to be able to get it away as Ellis Johnson will run him down from behind, and I think he was throwing a streak route. He was going to go on top.
Well, he was trying to go to Eddie Kennison, number 2, because Eddie Kennison is the one player on this field for LSU that can, when he touches the football, he can take it the distance. An outstanding player who committed to Florida State. And then LSU, Curly Hallman wouldn't quit, just kept going back to the school, finally talked him into coming to LSU. There is number 2, Eddie Kennison. Keep your eye on number 2.
They're swinging out. This is Jay Johnson. And the sophomore from Waco is hit by Monty Groh, the Gator back, who comes up and makes the stab at the 16-yard line.
This 8-man front of Florida, you have to keep them off balance, and they did in the first drive. Of course, the first down play when they get sacked, you see Ron Zook. He'll bring pressure against Jamie Howard. He doesn't want him to get any kind of rhythm going.
Groh comes out of the ballgame. Darren Hambrick will come in replacing him. Again. Howard running for his life. He's got a man open, and he threw it short. Kevin Carter was the one putting the pressure on him, but Scott Ray was all alone in the middle of the field.
Well, he was under pressure, Ron, and he couldn't get his feet up under him, and he tried to throw across his body, and he couldn't get anything on the football and threw it right into the ground. Ron Zook trying to heat up the quarterback. See him throw across his body, just nothing on it. He knew right away, his hands go to the head, that he made a mistake, but he was under pressure.
Scott Holstein, 26 punts, averaging just over 43 as you look at Larry Kennedy. Almost 10 yards per return for him. His longest this year is 34. And they're coming after him, and he gets it away, goes down, but nobody touched him. And there is no flag. Touched by LSU, and let's check in with Mike Tirico. Mike?
Ron, we're keeping an eye on the Pac-10 on Southern Cal and Oregon. Oregon after blowing the big lead to Cal last week. Rob Johnson for the Trojans, 44 yards to Edward Hervey. SC up 14-7 at that point. Danny O'Neill answers. Pitches to Sean Burwell. The option pass to Christian McLemore. They miss, going for 2. Southern Cal by 1 late in the second.
Well, I don't know about the Oregon team, Mike, can stand any more heartbreaks than they had last week. Boy, when you're up 30, and Mike had backs the point of people talking about coaches that they think they're trying to run it up.
Ron Cal lost today in a comeback.
That's right. Going for it all. Touchdown, Jack Jackson. Yards as they go on top of the first play, and Rodney Young couldn't do anything about it.
Well, when you're on the road like Florida is, and the upset possibilities are here, you have to take the wind out of everything. The sails of the players, the crowd, and you can hear a hush in this crowd with that pass. Jack Jackson just beat Rodney Young.
And it was all set up by special teams.
They went after him on the punt. They're trying to make a statement. They're trying to be very aggressive to try to take the fight to LSU.
Horstein to punt it short. Davis with the extra point attempt, and he's got it. 3:15 left in this opening quarter, and Jack Jackson with the 39-yard touchdown, and just like that, the Gators on top.
Well, first of all, Ron, they have good field position, so they can throw the streak route. Jack Jackson just going to take it down the sideline and beat Rodney Young, number 42. Rodney Young just stopped for a second. He hesitated. Ball. Danny Werfel put the ball right on the money. The outside shoulder, just like you want it thrown for the touchdown.
And Mike, from that angle right there, you could see that Young's hand was just underneath the ball on his chest.
That little split second that he looked back into the quarterback cost him a touchdown.
Adrian, let's go down to you. What do you have for us?
Assuming the Tigers take control of this kick and go on offense, you're going to see a replacement for starting Gatorback at number 10, Monty Groh, who has just gone into the locker room for x-rays on his right forearm, Ron.
Okay, you remember a moment ago we said Hambrick had come in replacing him, but it was not as an extra defensive back, and we wondered at the time. Thanks, Adrian. We'll get an update from you on Monty Groh. There's a look at Eddie Kennison, the freshman from Lake Charles. But they kick it away from him, and it'll be Butler. 19 yards on that return. So all of a sudden, Mike, you talk about the wind out of a big sail. Now, this place was rocking and rolling just a moment ago, and you could have dropped the pen after that touchdown.
Exactly right. Now Lynn Amity, the offensive coordinator, has to get the wind back in the sail. He has to have a drive right now, and he has to go back to what he did the first series. As you see Curly Hallman writing, throw the ball on first down.
Is the lone setback this time.
What a problem with 8 people in the box.
Rolls the pocket, drills the pass. Incomplete at the 35.
Ron, when you deal with the 8-man front, here's the problem. Here's what the quarterback sees. He's looking at both outside linebackers, because if they stay inside, now you have 8 players in the box, and that's what he was watching on that last play. That's why he decided to check off. The problem becomes when they switch off a little bit and they move out in a position where they can cover pass or they can sneak back in. Jamie Howard has to keep his eyes on both the outside linebackers.
And for as little experience as he has, that's a lot to take care of, isn't it, Mike?
It really is. I mean, he really has to do a job on that.
Go with the running play with Butler. Oh, he gets stuck. Dexter Daniels, along with Ed Robinson, there on the stop for the Gators. You could hear that pop up here. There's got to be a third down, LSU.
You know, it's unusual for Steve Spurrier, who's an offensive coach, to go with an 8-man front. But the reason he decided to go the 8-man front, when he was at Duke, he was outmanned a little bit, so he decided to get the 8-man front to try to stop those ACC teams from running the football against him. Now he has some better athletes here at the University of Florida, but he's still in the 8-man front. Jamie Howard will look at the outside backers.
Butler pressure on again. That pass overthrown at midfield. Chris Hill is the man that he wanted. You can see that Lake is terribly excited about the play. And there is a flag down back at the 27-yard line.
Right around where the quarterback get hit. But now they're talking to Florida, so maybe it's a hold.
We have holding, offensive line. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
So 3 and out for LSU, and it's not what they needed right now.
No, because that leads to getting blown out. That leads to getting in a track meet for Curly Hallman. You have to keep the Florida offense off the field. You have to control the clock when you're the underdog at home.
As you look at Holstein, Howard, Mike hit his first 4, now has missed his last 3 as he kicks it away to Larry Kennedy, number 3 for Florida. They're coming after him again. This one, a good coverage kick. Very high spiral. Fair catch is signaled for and made at the 26. Well, football next Saturday at Lowell start at 12:30 Eastern Time. It is Wisconsin and Purdue. Wisconsin 5-0. Boy, the best start to a season in the history of the program. Then CFA Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Number 18, the Cavaliers against number 1 Florida State, who won today. But the Seminoles can't rest on laurels. That's a good Virginia football team. And then next Saturday night, prime time, 7:30 Eastern Time, number 4 Notre Dame at number 19 BYU. All next Saturday right here on ESPN. Some fun games in there. Eric Red again. work him and they work him, and you see why. It's almost like Mike, as he gets lathered up, he runs a little bit better than when he starts the evening.
That's why I talked about, Ron, at the start. This offense is a mirage, a facade, whatever you want to call it, because Steve Spurrier has the reputation, I'll throw the football, throw the football, throw the football. But where he hurts you is running the football. Eric Rett running the ball, draws, just his offensive line coming off the ball. This player right here, Eric Rett, is tough to defend in this offense.
Willie Jackson in motion. Werfel throws. That's who he's going for. Completed to 45, and Jackson continues to fight. Picks up a couple more as Rodney Young will finally bump him out of bounds. Willie sprained his left knee against Kentucky. Missed a game. We mentioned in the introductions his father was a very good player for the Florida Gators. He grew up around this program, and he has continued in his footsteps. Very good receiver. 6'1", 202 senior, and of course he's out of Gainesville. Houston in motion, but the give is to Rett. Look at the bounce outside. There was nothing that left tackle, but he'll pick up the first down as Gabe Northern grabs his jersey.
Ron, one of the reasons if you're LSU you have to control the football if you have any shot to beat these players, because Florida, when you look at their average yards, or their yards, 504 yards, 36 points a game, but what's more important is 79 plays in a game. They control the game with their offense.
504 yards. As you look at Mike Bugar, the defensive coordinator from the Tigers, that means that they could average 125 a quarter, and that's stepping. Werfel pumps once, little stop and go, and it's on top. Incomplete. One overthrown as Jack Jackson is the guy that he wanted. Rodney Young was there on the cover.
That just sends a message. Get off of us. We're going to throw deep. That's 2 deep throws that they've worked against Rodney Young on the right side. Now expect them to come back with something to Eric Rett or some pass underneath. Now they have the defensive backs off. Now look for Steve Spurrier to throw something in the 10, 12-yard range.
1 minute left in this opening quarter. Dorian in motion this time. Zings it complete at the 37. Harrison Houston, and he will have the Gator first down. 13 yards on the completed pass.
That's the idea of the long ball, Ron. Now you got him under back heels. You've got Rodney Young playing deep passes. Then you throw a curl right in front of him to Harrison Houston, number 84. Wide open.
Mike, that's a strange motion by Werfel.
It's almost like he's throwing a shot put. Quarterback coaches always talk about throwing it from the ear. He really does throw it from the ear.
Almost short arms it, doesn't it? But boy, does he read it well, and he gets it on target. This is Rett. Nothing on the left side. Let's go to the right. He'll pick up 1. Most backs would have picked up nothing as Corey White steps up to make the hit. My question to you is Eric Rett, with the great career that he's had in Florida, is he comparable to the man named Smith who now plays for the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, I think he's a different type back, but I'll tell you, some pro teams really going to love this player because he does so many things for you. I mean, he would be great in the 49er type offense, Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers, because he's a back that can catch the football.
See the clock in the lower right-hand window, and that'll be the final play of this opening quarter. So let's take a break. The Florida Gators, number 5 in the nation, lead by a touchdown.
Doubleheader. I'm hungry.
That goes double for me.
McDonald's?
I'm the double.
Double cheeseburger?
Double, so maybe even double triples.
What was that?
That double take we just passed from McDonald's.
Well, I'll double back.
Thanks to McDonald's Double Plays, you can get 2 double cheeseburgers for $2, 2 triple cheeseburgers for $3, and a great deal on a triple cheeseburger extra value meal with Coke and fries.
We got the 2 double cheeseburgers for $2 and 2 triples for $3?
I love that double cheese.
You guys are double par.
Oh, boy.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Ever wonder why a hamburger costs $10 in Tokyo? Or why a cab to the airport there runs about $120? Or why their luxury cars seem so expensive, especially when compared to the Oldsmobile 88 Special Edition, which, even with air, automatic, cruise, tilt, anti-lock brakes, and dual airbags, cost just $19,995? It's your money.
Mark and Rennie and little Lindsay are a young family just starting out. They don't have a lot of money for life insurance. I'm their State Farm agent, Gaylord Mooseman. Instead of giving Mark and Rennie a big life insurance sales talk, I did a lot of listening. And we came up with a plan that's going to work for their budget and little Lindsay's future, too. State Farm agents are good listeners because we want you to have life insurance you can live with.
State Farm sells life insurance.
In America, your car is not just something you own. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco has developed Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. With not one, but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
What is a mountain man's natural environment? Let's explore. A mountain man enjoys peaceful surroundings. A place where gentle winds blow. And the beauty of nature is all about. Only here does the mountain man find true happiness with a smooth bush beer or an easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and find out how the true mountain man can make any environment a more natural one.
10-3 our score as we close out the first 15 minutes of play. Roy Kramer, the fine commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, has just stopped in to visit as we take a look at the storyline in this one. Werfel 5 of 9, 85 yards, a touchdown. Look at Rhett, 9 for 42 already. Kennison, no receptions, 20 yards.
Here comes the blitz run. They're going to blitz a no-back set. Eric Rhett is against the linebacker over here on the right side. It's a mismatch.
Cool, obvious holding there, and the ball is dropped by Jack Jackson. I think we all could make that call. But Dean Golden was just saving his quarterback.
Big-time wrestling. Brought him to the ground. Number 62, Dean Golden, is going to be called for this hold. He can't decide which one to hold. So he decides to hold Mike Calais, number 56. You talked about Roy Kramer in here. He used to coach at Central Michigan. Was an outstanding coach at Central Michigan. Did a great job there.
Yeah. I'll bet if he were with us last night, he would have eaten some Cajun food too, Mike. 138 total yards for Florida, LSU with 57, and the majority of the yardage for LSU came on that opening drive. Right now, though, this crowd is just begging this defense to put them back in the football game. They're down 10-3.
Another mismatch for Eric Rhett.
Here comes the blitz. All out. Werfel running for his life, and he'll be caught. Corey White.
You remember what Adrian Karsten said he heard on the sideline when Florida was going to go to the no-back set. LSU was going to bring the house at him. They were not going to give him time to throw the football. Corey White, number 54, is in. Number 56 also pressuring Mike Calais. Corey White, number 54, bringing down Danny Werfel.
Loss of 6 on that play. And as we said, the crowd just dying for this defense to get them back in it. Right now, it is a 3rd down. And, Mike, the ball is at the 42.5. They need to go all the way to the LSU 27-yard line.
They've got Terry Dean in the backup quarterback over here, so maybe a double
pass.
And
he throws back to Werfel. That's exactly what it is. Throws it back to Dean. I want to see the stat folks keep up with that one.
Well, it's a long yardage situation. Steve Spurrier said, well, let me bring my backup quarterback in, Terry Dean. Let him throw one. Let him double pass here. He's lined up as a receiver now. But right away, LSU read this. James Gilliard put a little pressure on, and
Werfel is there to make the reception, and you can see White will finish him off.
Little trickery there.
Shane Edge to punt for the Gators from the 28, and Eddie Kennison again is the man who is back in a single safety. High pass from center, but they've got the return on. The Gators got a little fortunate there. So let's take a break. 13:05 left in this opening half. Florida by a touchdown.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity. Helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time.
Keep your car in the running for that extra lap with Delco batteries.
Just northwest of Kalispell, Montana, there's a place where you can punch cattle instead of a time clock and discover what horsepower is really about. It's the Hargrave Cattle and Guest Ranch, where you can ride them and rope them like they used to. But if you go, you got to pull your own weight and pull out your Visa card. Because at Hargrave, they don't take the tin horns and they don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
It has a computer-controlled safety system, but it isn't an F-15 fighter. It has gold-plated connectors for longer life, but it isn't a deep space probe. It cost hundreds of millions of dollars to develop its technology, but it can be yours starting at around $13,000. It's the 1994 Toyota Corolla. You can't buy a more impressive car for less.
ESPN's presentation of CFA is brought to you by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. And by Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
100 years of LSU football, and of course you're looking at Dalton Hilliard. From 1980 through 1985, he became LSU's all-time leading rusher. Also a very dangerous receiver. Third among career rushers in the SEC behind Herschel Walker and Bo Jackson. That is some very fine company, Mike. Calais on the bench as you get a look at the LSU defense, and they did an excellent job in that last series. Toomer, the setback. First time we've seen him carry the ball tonight, and there's nothing there. William Gaines, the big 6'5", 293-pound senior at right tackle, steps up and said, well, this is the end of the road right here.
You must run away from William Gaines. He's too strong. 6'5", 293 senior. He's probably their best defensive lineman. And he's up against Ben Bordelon, who's getting his first start as a freshman. 6'5", 287. So you've got kind of a mismatch there.
Kevin Franklin in the ball game at wide receiver, number 21. Look at the pressure from behind. Howard never saw him. Pass in and out of the hands of the man we're just talking about. Kevin Franklin hit it right in the midst. Ellis Johnson was the pressure coming from the backside.
Can't throw it any better than that, Ron. Right in the hands of Kevin Franklin. But Jamie Howard still has to continue to gain confidence in this ball game. You see Kevin Franklin, he finds the football, just takes his eye off too quickly.
Darren Hambrick, the man who's replacing Monty Groh at the Gatorback, is the guy that they had isolated on the play. Couldn't take advantage of it. Pressure up the middle, Howard. 20, 25, and he will have the LSU first down. Kennedy forced him out.
He can run. He's a good athlete, as you talked about. The baseball player that's signed professionally, a pitcher. There's no room in that Atlanta Braves pitching staff with Maddox, Avery, Smotes, Glavin, and he's a fastball pitcher, so he'd stay here and play football till those guys get a little bit older.
And of course, the NCAA rule says you can come back in the spring. You have to take hours at the university to participate in spring training, but then also his contract calls for that he cannot leave school until he's taken that final exam to report to the minor league club.
Sideline warning, visiting team bench.
Jimmy Harper says sideline warning to the visiting team bench.
Wants them to back up over there so his officials have enough room, so they'll back him up. But you watch, about 3 plays from now, they'll be back on the field.
Jermaine Sharp, number 1, is coming at running back. Freshman out of high school. Gets the pitch. You can see he's got a little wiggle in his move, but he also got sandwiched there. Going to be stopped for no gain. Mike, in his first carry was against Texas A&M, and as we mentioned, right out of high school, and he fumbled, and the coaches were a little leery of using him a whole bunch, so he's been kind of quieted. But that's a huge transition. High school to come to major college and play against like SEC teams.
Well, this number 2, Eddie Kennison, who's playing in his first year, let me tell you, watching him practice the other day, he's special now. He has to make the big play for LSU tonight. Have to find a way to get him the football.
There he is, Kennison. Out to the 49-yard line before Kennedy makes the stop. But Mike's point is well taken. He's at V8.
Ron, he's special. I'm telling you, watch him. He's going to come down, and he's going to run an in route. First of all, he beats Larry Kennedy, who's trying to chuck him a little bit. Zone coverage, but you see his quicks. I mean, he has some feet. And when he touches the football, he can make some things happen. Can you imagine if he'd went to Florida State, he'd been just another one of those receivers that would have been in that football game today.
The track coach would have been terribly excited. Drop play to Toomer. And let's check in with Adrian Karsten.
Situation about Eddie Boo Kennison here. This is only his second game at flanker, Ron and Coach. Now, he moved from split end. The whole point was to put him in motion a little bit more. The LSU game plan tonight is short reverses, some middle screen stuff, as I say, just to get him in motion a little bit more. And looks like that position change has paid off here early on.
Yeah, you're right, Adrian. He's, and you can bet after the catch over the middle that the coaches for Florida will discuss him more from upstairs. Howard has to get it away quickly. Chris Hill to the 43-yard line. Well, we talked about Kennison and just being a baby right out of high school. Well, look at that catch in the crib. Second in the nation, 19.3. Every punt return, and 9th in the nation. Total yards per game, 155.8.
Hey, when you hear the baby cry there, Eddie Kennison, he's going to make some defenses cry in this league, and especially some defensive coordinators.
Well, he taught him right. See, as a baby, he caught it with one hand.
His left one.
A left hand, I know, that's right. Precocious.
That was for TV purposes.
There's the pitch to Toomer. Turns it back upfield, and with that second effort, I don't know, close to the first down. Ed Robinson, who's had a very good first half, number 41, comes up to nail it.
Made the tackle.
Ron, we talked about how he was recruited, Boo Kennison, and his high school coach, Robert Laverne, after Curly Holman kept coming to the school, and he wouldn't even give him the time of the day. His coach told him, says, go visit. That's the state school. You go look it over. And he decided to come here, and his coach passed away. And he's dedicated this season to Coach Robert Laverne, who died.
Go down and check in again with Adrian Karsten.
Ron, here's that injury update on number 10, Monty Grove, the starting Gator back for Florida. Looking at him walking off the field. He's not only gone for this game, but probably for some time to come. Going off the field with a splint on his right arm, which he has fractured.
Wow. That's a really tough one. As I mentioned to you, year before last, he missed the entire season because of an NCAA infraction, but has stuck around, and he has more snaps, more downs than any of the defensive players as far as experience.
Ron, you're looking at his replacement, Darren Hambrick, number 42.
This is the 10th play of this LSU drive. Toomer again. Whoa, what a collision. Wow, Ben Hanks, number 11, and he leans over and has sweet nothings to say to him.
His uniform number, I know you know the story on that. Ben Hanks gets number 11. That's kind of ironic that he has the former quarterback's number, but after I watched that tackle, now I know why. Steve Spurrier took his number out of retirement. gave it to Ben Hanks to use, and I think he made a wise choice to keep Ben Hanks happy.
You have to understand, Johnny Church, who is an excellent defensive end for the Gators, not able to play because of injury. Swings the pass. Has it complete, Chris Hill. Chris is a sophomore out of Mansfield, Louisiana. Injured a leg, didn't get to play last week, but the big number 89 back in the ball game, and he's another big target, 6'5", 216.
Just a sprint out to the right, pass to Chris Hill, but now, Ron, when you're inside the 25-yard line, Ron Zook now will call on the blitz of the 8-man front. He will pressure Jamie Howard.
Here they come. Setback, and here they come with the blitz. Toomer, no place to run. He'll be tackled at the 25. It's going to be a loss of 1. Mike, I know they're going with a one-back set, but we saw Johnson first, then Butler. We saw Jermaine Williams and now Toomer, but yet Johnson's the one that really made things go.
Now watch Ron here. Did you see the outside backers come inside? Jamie Howard has to locate both outside backers. Darren Hambrick, number 42, has to find where he's at, and if they're in a blitz situation, he has to check out of the run. Can't run the football against the 8-man front when they're blitzing like this.
Going to try to run, and there's just not much there. Anthony Riggins was all over it. Anthony, only a sophomore out of Fort Pierce, Florida.
Frustrating for the offensive coaches when you get inside the red zone, the 25-yard line, 30-yard line inside Curly Hallman. Now they're stalling again like they did the last time they were in here. They need a play out of Jamie Howard.
Well, that's kind of the point that I was making about Toomer, who is the bigger back, and maybe they've got him in there for blocking purposes as well. But the fleet-footed Jay Johnson really made things happen and gave Florida a little bit more things to be concerned about.
In the first drive, and he was the player that they needed to get the football to, and did.
Has just come back into the game. 13 plays, 55 yards. This drive started back on the 14. Howard zings it, intercepted at the 10 by Lawrence Wright. And Wright finally tackled at the 29-yard line, and that's kind of what Lynn Amity was talking about. Strong arm, and he never saw that safety sitting in deep center field.
Bad throw, and Florida, again, they tightened up when they got inside the 25-yard line, blitzed them on first down, then got in a situation where they played heavy coverage. Dropping back, Larry Kennedy's back, safety sitting on the hash. Lawrence Wright, number 4, is just waiting for the interception. Bad choice by Jamie Howard.
Well, you're right, Mike. He was just kind of like a turtle on a log. He was just sitting on that hash. He wasn't about to move, was he?
What's a turtle usually wait for when he's sitting on a log?
He just kind of sung.
Got to eat, though.
He was relaxing. Yeah, but he's keeping an eye. 2 tight ends this time for the Gators as they roll the pocket. Whipple gets it out in the flat, and 82, Aubrey Hill takes it across the 40 to the 43-yard line.
You just can't have those missed opportunities against a good team like Florida. Can't keep giving them chances with the football to tack one more point. 6:38 on the clock, left in the half.
Coming into this ball game, LSU had a league-leading 10 interceptions, and now another one, another pickoff by the opposition. Reverse it. Here comes the pressure. Throws it back complete to his tight end, Dean. And Dean will take it down to the 43-yard line. And let's check with Adrian again. Adrian Karsten.
Ron, some of that indecision, lack of confidence on Jamie Howard's part that both of you have been talking about. Something kind of strange here. I don't see Lynn Amity down on the sidelines like he has been for the last 2 games. Now, this is obviously one of the biggest games Howard has started and is playing, but I don't see him down here, Coach.
Well, he's Lynn Amedy's been down on the sideline for the last 2 games, but he has a better view of what the strategy needs to be in the press box. So he felt like he had Jamie Howard settled down, and he moved back up to the press box, but I wouldn't be surprised, Ron, if he's back down there before long.
Could be right. Complete at the 23, and it's Harrison Houston. 22 yards on the completion.
I made a statement last year when Shane Matthews graduated. I didn't care who the quarterback was at the University of Florida. They would be successful. And they're successful because they have a system. And on 5 steps, when that quarterback's foot hits, he throws on time, and he had Harrison Houston on the corner route.
So there's a timeout on the field, Mike. We're going to take it with him. 5:44 left until halftime.
This year during the World Series, Budweiser will bring you the game within the game. The Budweiser World Series Classic. To play, go to your favorite store, look for this sign, and pick up an official game card. Then catch the Budweiser Classic play during each game of the World Series. Each one's worth $100,000. Who knows? You could make the greatest play of the series.
Nice catch.
Besides being an educator, Jim Elkins is a collector of antiques and an occasional Montana trout. Having owned a dozen Toyota cars, Jim naturally made the T100 his first Toyota truck. Your typical big truck owner? No. But then the T100 is not your typical truck. Observe the Detroit Free Press. The cabin reminds one of the Toyota Camry in equipment and comfort. The Toyota T100 puts you in a whole new class.
A safari rarely lasts longer than a few weeks, unless it's a safari maintained with genuine AC oil filters, because over hill, dale, and wadi, no other filter can track down, trap, and capture more dirt. So, AC oil filters keep your engine in the hunt for a longer life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time.
When it's a matter of survival, it's AC filters.
Florida on top by 7, and our Toyota Leadership Award this week from Florida, Michael Gilmore. He's a junior from Chipley, Florida, pre-med major in zoology, 3.63 GPA. And from LSU, Rodney Young, a junior from Grambling, Louisiana, majoring in education with a GPA of 2.74. He's a representative of the SEC Student Athletic Committee. Toyota proud to donate $1,000 to each General Scholarship Fund on behalf of these 2 fine athletes. 10-3, Florida leads. Situation 1st and 10 at the LSU 22. Werfel gets it complete, and Rhett slipped out of the backfield. He'll have it for a couple. Came down on the football. You can see him kind of grabbing at the midsection there, Mike.
Ron, some interesting games in the SEC today. Of course, Tennessee wins again. Now that sets up next week's game with Alabama. And Steve Spurrier told me, he says, we're going to look back and we're going to be very glad that we played Tennessee early in the season because he thinks they're really, really a good, solid football team.
I think his observations are extremely accurate. Flag is down. Werfel's pass complete. Willie Jackson, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds right at the first down marker by Rodney Young. And now let's come back and see what Jimmy Harper is looking at the 24.
We have an illegal procedure, offensive team.
Well,
Jimmy's heading for space.
Jimmy's getting a little feedback there, I think, from the PA. Standings in the East, Florida 3-0, 4-0 overall. Then Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Georgia 0-4.
Tennessee just staying on the heels.
And out west, Alabama 3-0 in the conference, 5-0. Then comes Arkansas and Ole Miss behind them. LSU at 1-2 in the Southeastern Conference.
And how about Auburn? Staying undefeated. Winning again today over Mississippi State.
Blitz is coming as Werfel dumps it out there. And Rhett with a nice move at the 26-yard line. Gabe Northern finally put a hat on him. But he will have it to the 17-yard line.
Anthony Marshall missed a tackle on him also, but they decided to blitz. And Eric Rhett, there's the missed tackle by by number 42, excuse me, Rodney Young. Eric Rhett makes you miss. Rodney, they've been picking on Rodney a little bit. Deep throws and trying to throw the ball his side.
Werfel has hit his last 6 pass attempts. Here they come with the blitz. You can see the corner. Deep to the end zone. Touchdown to Harrison Houston.
It's too good a pass offense that when you blitz them, you better get to them or you better put a little pressure on because they have some post patterns built in. And Danny Werfel, exactly what Steve Spurrier said, you're not going to get him ruffled. Just waited for the post to Harrison Houston.
That's a mouthful. Can't ruffle Werfel.
Oh.
7 passes in a row for him.
Can't ruffle his feathers.
Judd Davis to try to make it 17-3, and he hit the upright. So it's no good. Davis misses it, and let's take a break. Florida 16, LSU 3 on the Harrison Houston touchdown.
The Bulls are back in town, Birmingham. They're skating into another ice-kicking season. Opening night is Tuesday, October 19th, and it's also Crazy Rookies Hot Dog Night Part 2 with 10,000 free hot dogs sponsored by Wilson Foods and Fox 21. Adventure Travel will also give away 2 free airline tickets to anywhere in the U.S. Friday, October 22nd is Bulls Mini Hockey Stick Night. The first 2,000 kids 14 and under get a free mini hockey stick from Chevron and Fox 21. The Bulls are back.
For years, you've depended on State Farm to insure your car. But did you know you can also depend on us to protect your family's future? State Farm. We sell life insurance.
For all your insurance needs, see State Farm agents Randall Young, Bobby Baker, or Bobby Campbell in Gardendale.
PN Sports Center highlight goes like this. Loose ball in the end zone. Fall on it, no chance. My feet are light, and I've got the moves. At the 50, I see Myers. Not now, Chris. I'm a busy man. And as I cross the goal line, I laugh, knowing my agent has just cut a deal for my very own fitness video. Yeah, that's my Sports Center highlight.
Harrison Houston, 4 catches, 66 yards. He got that one for a touchdown just a moment ago. As you take a look at his numbers tonight. Shane Edge has it teed up. On the other side of the field, not quite so joyous. Butler, he'll get it 5 yards deep, and he'll not return this one.
Ron, Danny Werfel reads the blitz, so he's going to use every one of his linemen, and he's going to move Eric Rhett to this side to pick up the blitz. He's using 7 people blocking. He read the blitz, he called the blitz protection, and then was able to throw the post route. Now look at the wide receivers. He's going to run a little safe route here just in case the post isn't open. And he's going to hit Harrison Houston on post. So they have it built in for the big play, but also have it built in for a safe throw outside with heavy protection. Great call by Danny Werfel.
1 run and 5 passes, 2:57 the time of the drive, 6 plays, 71 yards. 16-0 for the Florida Gators. Look at Butler there, number 40. Kennison on the far side, set to receive this one. Kennison would love to shake up the folks in Lake Charles and Baton Rouge right here tonight by taking this one and returning it. 5-yard penalty, still goes into the end zone. And let's go down to Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, we're about to see a quarterback change here. Jamie Howard has been benched. There was no injury. He was on the headphones to Coach Amity upstairs, but here comes Chad Loop, hometown boy from Baton Rouge.
Well, the fans will like that for a few plays. You know, they always like the second-team quarterback coming into the ball game. Chad Loop brings in a little bit more experience. 6'2", 204-pound senior.
Loop under pressure, hit just as he throws, and has it complete to Kennison. Kennison steps out of bounds at the 38. It was Carter who was hitting Loop just as he got the pass away.
Chad Loop barely gets the pass off before he's hit. Eddie Kennison on a corner route is open behind the linebacker, number 42, Darren Hambrick, for the completion.
18 yards on that pass play. Dumps that one off, and the receiver gets dumped at the 41 at Butler. Jamie Howard, his number, 72 yards, 7 of 12, 1 interception.
Ron, they haven't been able to establish a run, and the defensive line of Florida, which is the strength of the defense, is just manhandling the offensive line. The quarterback's not going to have a lot of time to make decisions throwing the football with the way his offensive line's blocking his defensive front.
About to go under 3 minutes left until halftime. Gators on top by 13. This one to David LaFleur, tight end. And Haston is there to make the hit on him at the 45. And it'll bring up a third down and a couple for the Tigers.
Talk about Jamie Howard. He went back to the bench. You don't want to break him. And here you have a sophomore who's a very good athlete. I expect that he'll come back in this ball game. What I would think that what Lynn Amity's trying to do is just get him off the sideline, let him see what's happening on defense. Eventually, you're going to bring him back in if Chad Loop struggles a little bit, but we'll see what happens.
Jermaine Williams blocking as the pass is intercepted by Hambrick. Hambrick hit by Loop and knocked out of bounds at the 23, and Loop was the last man between Hambrick and the goal line.
That's the outside linebacker that sometimes you see in on the rush. This time he just played the pass perfect.
Second interception of the year thrown by Chad Loop.
Number 42, see, he's showing you that he's going to fake blitz, but he's going to come out and be in coverage. Shows the blitz, now is able to get in coverage and just breaks in front for the interception. Darren Hambrick, number 42, a freshman.
And, of course, he's the man that we talked about, had replaced Monty Grove, who injured his arm just a quarter ago. Eric Rebb in the draw play. Ricardo Washington will stop in.
I want to go back to the quarterback situation for LSU. Chad Loop made a mistake, but yet he built a little fire there for a couple plays, but they have to bring Jamie Howard back in this football game because the future is with number 4. He's going to be here for a couple years, and he's enough of a talent to get this program going. They've got a lot of young players. You can't break him tonight, and I'm sure the LSU coaches will try to get him back in.
Looks like Crouch, the center, you could see him talking to the umpire, who is the official right in front of the football. There must have been moisture on the ball or something. And Jimmy Harper asked for another one, and they'll bring it back to him. He never did go down in his stance and get the football because he didn't like it. They throw it out.
Well, both teams use their own balls, so he might have looked down and seen LSU on that ball. He wanted a Florida ball.
Rhett with the draw play. Tripped up, as you can see, after a couple. About to go under 1 minute left until halftime. 16-3, the Florida Gators. And a touchdown right here would really be a devastating blow to this LSU football team.
Fat lady wouldn't start singing, but boy, she'd be getting ready.
She could gargle a little anyway. Coming up at halftime, the Delta Faucet Report, Florida State, Miami. Big Ten upset today, and highlights of the Auburn Tigers, who are now undefeated. And Werfel wants a timeout, so he'll stop it with 48 seconds left until the halftime. So let's take a break. It's been all Gators.
Subway's steak and cheese sub is not only delicious, it's easy to eat anywhere. To prove that fact, I'm going to eat my dinner here at the rodeo. No one's ridden rocket launcher for more than 8 seconds, so I'll have to eat fast. But you'll want to take your time to really savor tender steak and cheese on our fresh baked bread. One bite and you'll agree. Subway makes great food!
Now when you buy one steak and cheese sub with a medium soft drink, you can get a regular 6-inch sub for just 99 cents at Subway.
Well, at least I get a meal on this flight.
My dandruff's really bad. The itch drives me crazy. I'll try anything. The Denorex side feels different. It has a clean, tingling feeling. Nothing with Head & Shoulders.
Both Denorex and Head & Shoulders have effective dandruff medicine. But Denorex goes a step further with something extra that tingles to give your scalp a fresh, invigorating feeling.
That tingle is why I started using Denorex.
Try Denorex with conditioners, the serious dandruff shampoo.
No more flakes, no more itch. My dandruff's history.
No matter what you drive, Pep Boys offers worry-free, guaranteed service. For worry-free, guaranteed service, 7 days a week, it's Pep Boys. Look for our value-packed catalog in your newspaper, mailbox, or at the store.
16-3 Florida, as you can see, under a minute left until halftime, and the Gators trying to just seal this one away if they can pick up a touchdown following that interception by Hambrick off Chad Luton. Movement for the Tigers going to cost them 5 as Red is tripped up after a gain of 1, but that's a free play, and it'll be enough for the Gator first down.
Florida still has 1 timeout left, Ron, so with 44 seconds and 1 timeout, they've got many plays to try to throw the ball in the end zone.
While we're checking on that, let's go down to Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, I've been checking on the quarterback situation down here behind the LSU bench. Now, Chad Luth and Jamie Howard have been standing nose to nose here, kind of comparing notes. I am told by the staff here that the decision... Didn't want to interrupt our referee there, but the decision for the quarterback for the second half will be made at halftime.
Well, I can tell you if it's me making a decision, I'm going right back to that young man. They called it on both teams, Florida and LSU, so replay 3rd down, Ron.
Blitz from the outside. Look-in pass. Harrison is the man that he wanted. Harrison Houston. And now here comes a very late flag here.
Whoa. I'm going to call it on Talby Crawford. If it's pass interference, it's on number 9, and that's when they're going to... Number 9, well, I tell you, I can't see where his arm is, his inside arm, whether it's on the back and whether he's pushing him or not.
I don't necessarily question the call. I think the thing that the fans got so upset about and the coaching staff, too, is that the flag was real late in coming.
Might have deep pockets to get it out.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Those pockets are just
some
too
money in
darn
there
deep.
with that.
I hate that when it happens. Puts it up. Touchdown, Willie Jackson.
Just a fade route on the outside. Tighten his split down. Willie Jackson against Terry James. Here's the fade. He's just working outside. Ball thrown a little bit inside, but good adjustment by Willie Jackson. LSU is in a lot of trouble.
Extra point by Davis. This time is good. He missed one. He hit the upright on his last attempt. And And with Willie Jackson, he has joined some very impressive company. Mike with that touchdown reception. Moves ahead of Carlos Alvarez, the great one between 69 and 71. 20 touchdowns for Willie Jackson, 2 behind Wes Chandler.
Ron, Danny Werfel is 12 out of 16, 176 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he's hit his last 8 in a row. He's in complete control against the LSU defense. Redshirt freshman, going to be around for a while.
Yeah, last week he threw for 449 yards against Mississippi State. And of course, 14 points that have come here, actually 13, have come off turnovers by the Florida Gators. So, and again, that backs up the point that you make as you look at number 2, Kennison, is making errors against a team like the number 5 Gators. Well, it's like poking a dagger in your heart. This is Butler. NFL game day, noon Eastern time. No football Sunday complete without it. Tomorrow's top stories, an essay on losing the fire. When is the will gone? Also, the Eagles' resiliency, injuries, but yet they are 4-0, and a feature on Ronnie Lott. Then NFL prime time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. All the scores and highlights from the day. The fastest 60 minutes in television. ESPN's NFL prime time. Chad Luke still the quarterback. Jermaine Williams, who will take it straight ahead and should be the last play of the first half.
Hey, Ron, how about those Philadelphia Eagles? Richie Kotay, and I know Bud Carson and Jimmy Vicarella on the defensive side. Billy Warrendale, you're from Philadelphia. This team refuses to quit.
Boy, and they won that amazing comeback game against the Washington Redskins. Clock runs down. That's the end of the first half with the score. Florida 23 and LSU 3. Stay tuned for the Delta Faucet halftime report.
If you were to take every article, every review, every honor, every award, everything positive people have had to say about the Toyota Camry and put it on a wall, you'd need a very big wall. And now there's the new 1994 Toyota Camry with dual airbags, a new V6, and built in America. Imagine the wall we're going to need for that.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity. Helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time.
Keep your car in the running for that extra lap with Delco batteries.
Certain look. It's the little things that are worth the most. Which is why every Delta faucet gives you more than you'd ever expect for the money. Giving you the money for those things you can't even put a value on. Delta, the way water is brought to life.
This halftime report is presented by Delta Faucet Company. Delta, the way water is brought to life.
Danny Werfel looks very good. Gators up by 20. Coach Corso and Craig James join me momentarily. First, let's get folks updated here on the Delta Faucet halftime report. Starting with games going on in the Pac-10, Southern Cal and Oregon. Two teams trying to bounce back. Oregon blew the 30-point lead and lost to Cal last week. Southern Cal's last game, a 31-point loss at Arizona. What would happen tonight? Rob Johnson to Edward Hervey. 44 yards, his second of the year. SC up 14-7. Danny O'Neal, the Oregon quarterback, to Sean Burwell. Option pass from the running back to Kristen McLemore in the back of the end zone. The extra point no good. Right now it's a 1-point Southern Cal lead as they play in the third. Also in the Pac-10, Washington State pouring it on Arizona State, winning by 19. Big day for the quarterback Mike Pattinson, as Washington State is now 2-1 in conference and Arizona State 0-2. Oregon State all over Pacific. The story here, the Beavers 667 yards on the ground, also a school record 32 first downs. At the Superdome, Tulane looking to get to 500 right now, trailing the Raging Cajuns by 3 scores. The Commodores of Vandy at home in Music City and trailing Cincinnati 7-3. The Commodores just 10 pass completions this year. Halftime in the Big Ten. This is the Big Ten. Despite all the points there, 49 in the first half at the Metrodome. Purdue up by 7. NC State and Texas Tech, each team coming off a tough loss, going out of conference, and on the Robert Hall score in the air, it's the Red Raiders by 4. The annual version of what's become the game of the century, Miami, Florida State. A couple of stories here. Number one, I think Florida State being number one, because Miami has beaten number one the last 8 times that the Hurricanes have taken on the top-ranked team in the country. Florida State, first series, 1st and 10, Sean Jackson breaks free on the right side, gets past the defense with the speed. Now he needs some help downfield as the Canes are chasing him. Matt Fryer, the wide receiver, gets White out of the way and gets into the end zone to Sean Jackson, 69 yards. That would be a special sideline on this day. Charlie Ward on 3rd and 10 to Matt Fryer, 72 yards in all. Is it National Championship Part 1? A couple other parts coming up like Notre Dame and Florida. The Florida State passes Test 1. Number 1 beats number 3, 28-10, handing the Canes their first regular season loss in 32 tries. Michigan State and Michigan. What about the Sparties? Jim Miller to Scott Green for the touchdown. Stayed up 17-0 at the half, and the defense poured it on. It's the first time in a decade that Michigan has been held under 50 rushing yards. The Spartans pull the upset in that rivalry. Louisville and West Virginia, battle of unbeatens in Morgantown. 33-28 in the 4th. Jeff Brom, the good quarterback, to Kevin Cook. Louisville ahead 34-33. They missed the 2. Still 34-33. Todd Sauerbrunn, the kicker, very good kicker too. 36-yard field goal. Mountaineers by 2. And the Mountain Men keep the lead with some big D. Brom in trouble. Intercepted by Tommy Orr. This West Virginia defense gives up a lot of yards, but they come up with the big plays, don't they? 4 turnovers on the day by Louisville. West Virginia unbeaten. Their tough games left at Syracuse, at Boston College, and Miami in Morgantown. Cal and Washington. What an exciting game in the Pac-10. 2 minutes left after a score. It's 23-17. Cal at home and leading, and the onside kick is recovered by Scott Greenlaw. So the Huskies have a chance. With a minute to go, Damon Heward walks them down the field. And the Washington quarterback back to pass, looking for his tight end, reliable Mark Bruner. For the score, it ties it, and the extra point gives Washington the win. The Huskies have won 13 straight over the Bears, despite 7 turnovers. Washington rallies Cal after the big comeback last week. It's a comeback put on them. The Red River rivalry. Let's go to the Cotton Bowl with the grass on the field. Cale Gundy, feeling comfortable on the option, keeps it and goes through the Texas defense. 3 rushing touchdowns for the quarterback. Give it up for me, he says. Oklahoma wins 38-17. Gary Gibbs beats the Longhorns for his first time as Oklahoma coach. Earlier on ESPN, the Alibuck Trophy. That's the Turtle, Ohio State and Illinois. That trophy hasn't been in Columbus for 5 years. They took care of it. Bobby Hoying to Joey Galloway, 7-0 Buckeyes. Buckeyes score on the first possession and hold off a late, strong Illinois comeback. The Buckeyes win by 8. Notre Dame at home playing Pittsburgh. Coach Holt said this was going to be a tough one. It was for the first 2 minutes. Lee Becton on the run. On the right side, an 8-yard run. He had a career high, 142 yards. The Fighting Irish at 6-0, unbeaten, and you're going to see them in prime time next week here on ESPN, Coach.
And speaking of that, this next game Notre Dame has, it's at BYU. It's an educational game. It's a warm-up game for the Irish for Florida State because BYU uses the same kind of pass offense as the Noles, and to beat BYU and to beat Florida State, they're going to have to pound them. And pound them, run that option play, and keep both of those great defenses on the sideline, my friend.
My friend, not so fast. One big key difference here. It's 4.40s at Florida State and 4.6 on the other boys at BYU. How about the pounding Michigan took today? Tyrone Wheatley, 11 carries, 33 yards. As a team, 23 carries for 33 yards. That included 3 sacks for 30 yards. You get the point. They were pounded. And Michigan plays at Penn State next week. It won't get any easier.
It takes a little bit away from that game. Stay with us on the Delta Faucet Halftime Report. A lot more to do, including the Auburn Tigers, the team nobody gets to see on TV, the team Florida gets to see next week. We'll show you Gator fans and everyone else highlights of the Tigers in action today when we come back at halftime in Baton Rouge. It's the Gators by 20.
Delta Faucet has over 1,000 different styles of faucets to choose from.
Just a sec.
So there's a Delta Faucet that's right for everyone's needs.
Oh, okay, I'll get the food, you get the water.
Delta, the way water is brought to life.
And don't forget to turn it off.
You know, there's one thing that most sporting events have in common. When you see this R, the player's wearing a Russell Athletic NFL Pro Line jersey. Hi, Warren.
Hey, Joe.
Russell Athletic is also the official uniform supplier of Major League Baseball. They even outfit most major college and high school teams. In fact, Russell Athletic even makes great sweats and tees for the rest of us. Unfortunately, not everybody's gotten to work.
Russell Athletic. It's everything we make that makes our sweats and tees so great.
Broncos, Cherokees, Pathfinders, any pickup or 4x4, on-road or off. Introducing the tough new LTX Light Truck Series from Michelin.
The Sabres, the Flyers. The explosive Sabres face Eric Lindros and the Flyers Tuesday live on ESPN National Hockey Night.
The Delta Faucet halftime report continues. Next week at Florida Field, people will be watching football on a Jumbotron. Auburn can't be on TV, but their games can be telecast back to the campus site of the game that's being played, the team that's playing. So they'll see Terry Bowden's Auburn team. Fans are going to watch on a Jumbotron in Florida Field, and they get to see Stan White, maybe Frank Sanders. 57 yards on this hookup. Auburn led 7-6. It's up 21 in the second and goes on to win 31-17. Auburn has beaten all three Division 1A teams in the state of Mississippi. The best start by an Auburn coach ever for Terry Bowden. Tennessee going to Arkansas. Remember, they lost to Arkansas last year, the week before Alabama. Heath Schuler would have none of that today. To Craig Faulkner in the end zone. It's a 14-point victory for Tennessee. And quite a day for Heath Schuler, who tied a school record with 18 touchdown passes this year. And we're only week 6 of the season for the Vols. Back to the Southwest Conference, A&M. The Aggies at Kyle Field against Houston. And the running backs keep pouring out for A&M. Leland McElroy, the freshman, the burst of speed. He's even quick in slow motion. 81 yards, pulling away from the Houston defense. Very stylish celebration as well as Leland gets into the end zone. The Aggies have won 17 straight Southwest Conference games. 34-10, the final. Greg Hill did return from his suspension, 128 yards. They all run the ball well. At Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill, North Carolina gave up a lot of points to Wake Forest. Stacey Gresham, 2 career carries, 2 touchdowns for North Carolina. It's not just the Johnsons. Colorado beat Missouri in the Big 8 by 12. The Tigers have lost 13 straight road games, 9 straight to the Buffs. Fresno State and Trent Dilfer, they tried a long field goal to win the game at the gun. It was blocked by Colorado State. And Sonny Lubick wins 34-32 over Fresno. Wisconsin pouring it on Northwestern 53-14. Wisconsin unbeaten. You will see them at West Lafayette next week here on ESPN. As we continue, we'll show you why Manhattan, Kansas looked like Manhattan as in the Big Apple on New Year's Eve. We'll tell you why the celebration was going on. And as we continue on the Delta Faucet halftime report, number 1 in Division 1A, Doug Nussmeier, the quarterback for Idaho, 6 touchdown passes in today's win. Jackson, Harrison Houston, Willie Jackson, touchdown catches. The Gators lead by 20.
Every single customer is important to us. After all, they chose us for one of the largest purchases of their life. I believe they deserve service beyond their expectations.
Terry Spitzer of Roebuck Chrysler Jeep is serious about customer satisfaction.
Signing the papers is not the end of the relationship, it's the beginning. We stay in touch with our customers and let them know that we're with them down the road. If we make them happy the first time, chances are they'll give us the opportunity again.
family after family made State Farm the largest insurer of cars and the largest insurer of homes. They made State Farm one of the largest and fastest growing of all life insurers, too, because families are discovering the best agent for their car and their home and their other precious possessions is a State Farm agent.
For all your insurance needs, see State Farm agents Randall Young, Bobby Baker, or Bobby Campbell in Gardendale.
My teammates depend on me, so I have to be in control. There's no way I would let them or myself down by using drugs. Stay in control. Don't use drugs.
If you or someone you know needs help or information concerning drug abuse, call this toll-free number, 1-800-662-HELP. This message provided by the NCAA.
As far as an exciting university to go to, LSU is definitely at the top of the list.
When you come over that bridge into Baton Rouge and you look over the right and you see Tiger Stadium and the Assembly Center, it just brings a feeling over you.
It's a campus of 25,000 people, but you still can always see somebody that you know.
It's hard not to make friends. Everything is just natural. The beauty is so natural.
There's something for everybody here. This is really a great place to go to school.
The Delta Faucet halftime report continues. In Manhattan, Kansas, they have the biggest crowd to ever see a K-State football game. Why? With a win, K-State would be 5-0. They haven't done that in 62 years. And here's Chad May. Back and looking for the end zone. Finds the speedster Andre Coleman. 19-yard score. K-State, then not only do they win 10-9, not only do they take down the goalpost, they take them to the top of the stadium. Best start since 1931 for the Wildcats, who are 19-2 in their last 21 home games at KSU Stadium. New Mexico State beat Northern Illinois, but the story here, LaShawn Johnson, here's your pub cowboy, 238 yards on the ground in a losing effort. He's the first back in Division 1A, over 1,000. In the Big Ten, Indiana at home beats Iowa, outrushing them 245-72. Baylor set the Southwest Conference record. 91 rushing attempts, did not attempt a pass. That hasn't happened in 1A in 6 years. Rice beats TCU by 15, tying a school record with 8 straight home wins. Worst start for the Maryland Terrapins since 1967. Georgia Tech shut out the Red Gun offense. Georgia gets a win going out of conference, 2-4 overall, 0-4 still in the SEC. What a day for Eric Zier. South Carolina behind Steve Tannehill. Small numbers, but still a victory. In the Big East, Boston College rallies to beat Rutgers. Another strong showing for Glenn Foley. Memphis State at home in the Liberty Bowl. No problem with Arkansas State. Memphis State up to 4 wins now. Army beats up on beleaguered Temple, 56-21. And look at Navy as they continue to play well, beating Air Force by 4. Hang around to see who's the quarterback for LSU in the second half. First half, they haven't gotten it done. Trail by 20.
Announcing the biggest advance in Quaker State history. It's Quaker State's new advanced high-tech formula motor oil. Superior wear protection plus superior heat and stress protection. New advanced formula Quaker State, formulated for today's high-tech engines.
99 years ago, we built our first Kelly Springfield tire. In that time, Americans invented TV. We fought in 2 world wars. We flew the first airplane and settled the West. We all had to start somewhere, and someone had to be first. Kelly Springfield, America's oldest tire company.
Good news! Now when you buy a Subway steak and cheese sub with a medium soft drink, you can get a regular 6-inch sub for 99 cents. Just a penny less to the bar.
The steak and cheese sub at Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Well, at least I get a meal on this flight.
Blue slide Lonnie on 2. Let's keep playing now. We're going to win, baby. It was a solid team victory.
I'm proud of you.
Win with humility.
Enjoy college football more than a game.
The Delta Faucet halftime report updating now the baseball story. Lance Johnson of Chicago actually hit a home run, a 2-run shot, but the Blue Jays on Joe Carter's hit have it 3-2 now, the lead in the third. Jays looking to go up 3-1 in the ALCS. In the NLCS, the big day for the Tomahawk Chop rolls on. Behind Tom Glavine, another big day from Pendleton, McGriff, and Otis Nixon. The Braves win by 5. A couple of football updates now. Southern Cal has kicked a field goal. They're in the 4th, and they lead the Ducks by 4. And in the Big Ten, Purdue has added another touchdown, leading at the Metrodome by 14. A comment on this game, Coach?
Well, Mike, you're looking at the #1 quarterback. The best young freshman quarterback in the nation is Danny Warford, bar none, and he will be a first-team All-American before he's finished, my friend.
That's pretty amazing, you know, because there are only a few freshman quarterbacks that start in the country.
That's all right.
No, he is a good player. Hats off to Washington players for overcoming that big deficit that they did with 2 minutes to go in the game and winning. These guys are playing off of sheer pride because they can't go to the Rose Bowl.
The whole story, as Chris and you guys were mentioning earlier, a redemption day for a lot of teams, except for Cal. Looked like they were going to get it done against Washington, but they did not. Close. Remember the Residence scoreboard after the game. Thanks for watching the Delta Faucet halftime report. Back to Ron and company after this.
Every single customer is important to us. After all, they chose us for one of the largest purchases of their life. I believe they deserve service beyond their expectations.
Terry Spitzer of Roebuck Chrysler Jeep is serious about customer satisfaction.
Signing the papers is not the end of the relationship, it's the beginning. We stay in touch with our customers and let them know that we're with them down the road. If we make them happy the first time, chances are they'll give us the opportunity again.
At Bull Building Supply in Jasper, we offer guaranteed low warehouse prices. That's why we're the largest independent building supply store in Alabama with over 8 acres of low prices. Insulate now and lower utility costs with Owens Corning R11 insulation, now just $6.25 a roll. Save now on Owens Corning Classic roofing shingles in a wide variety of colors and with the strongest 20-year warranty available, just $14.97 per square. Come to Bull Building Supply at 2900 Highway 78 West in Jasper. You'll get guaranteed low warehouse prices.
Why do universities hold such a special place in our hearts and our minds? Is there some magic in the beauty of our buildings and grounds? Or is it the spirit of young people at a creative and exciting time in their lives? It's all of that, but we build the quality of the university on a simple foundation of hard work. The magic comes from the young people who, through the university, develop the skills and vision we need for our future.
23-3, our score at halftime of the Florida Gators leading over the LSU Tigers. And Mike Gottfried, all we can say about the first 30 minutes of play, we're a long way away from the holiday season. It is far too early to be giving, but that's what LSU did. You can't do that with a number 5 team.
You can't. You got to control the football, and you can't have interceptions. Number 4, Lawrence Wright, sitting right on the hash. This is a heavy coverage defense. Jamie Howard just makes the mistake, puts it up. Lawrence Wright intercepts. Now, Chad Luke, watch number 42, Darren Hambrick. He's inside, makes you think he's going to be a run defender. Snap of the ball, watch his drop, perfect drop, breaks in front of the receiver for the interception. So 2 interceptions have killed LSU.
Let's go down to the sideline and check on the quarterback situation. Adrian Karsten, who's it going to be in the second half?
Ron, Coach, you're absolutely right. He may have made mistakes, but he's going to get a second chance. It's Jamie Howard that Coach Limit Amity tells me they're going to go with in the second half, but they're going to make it very easy on him. They're going to signal in every single play, ask him to read only one linebacker, one defensive back. They're asking the receivers to make adjustments in mid-route. Now, Coach Hallman tells me, look, he says, I just told my team, stop trying to beat yourself, start trying to beat Florida.
Butler, 5 yards deep, and he will not return this one.
Ron, you have to help your quarterback. You have to help him with pass protection and keep that defensive line off balance. But the key as we look at the first half stats is the 2 turnovers. It really has been big. And then the passing yardage by Florida. Danny Werfel's hit some big throws in this first half.
Also, just extreme consistency on the part of Werfel. So Howard comes out, 12 of 7 for him, 72 yards. He was sacked 1 time, his longest pass 22, and the 1 interception. Throwing, running against the grain, catch is made. Let's see if they give him a reception. Nope, going to be cut out of bounds. Cedric Wilson.
Cedric Wilson, incomplete.
Ron, the biggest problem, it's not all Jamie Howard's fault. I mean, when you look at this and you had -7 running the football inside on the left side, and you're only 17 carries for 49 yards, and then outside, haven't had any attempt wide right, 6 for 37. The running game is not there. When you don't have a running game to protect your quarterback, the rush is going to get to him.
Complete to the 27-yard line to Harold Bishop, his tight end. He fights it forward, and Ben Hanks is the man who makes the stop. Mike, let me ask you a question. You're talking about the rushing game is not going, and I go back to a point. I wonder if Johnson is hurt, because Jay Johnson came out on the opening drive. He is averaging over 8 yards a carry. We haven't seen him since like the second series.
He looked like he was shot out of a cannon in the first quarter, and there has to be something wrong with him at this point not to be in the ball game. But Curly Hallman has a young football team, and you have a young quarterback. And it was good for Jamie Howard to get that last completion, to get his confidence back. Something good to happen.
Third down. Good block by Butler that time. Pass is complete for Hill. And Chris will come out of bounds. Good enough for the first down at the 34.
Well, we keep talking about this, but I'm telling you, I'm impressed with Jamie Howard. He's got a big league arm. He made a bad mistake. He threw the interception, but he has not played that badly under the circumstances. I like his confidence. He's a professional baseball player. Things I like in a pitcher when you're a quarterback, you're always looking for control of the plate. Same thing throwing the football. Target, control, it's all there together.
Sharp, number 1 in the ball game, as the running back. He gets the hand off, tries to bounce to the outside, and does. And let's check in with Adrian Karsten. Maybe he can update on the situation with Johnson.
Exactly, Ron. What he has done is to sprain a lower abdominal muscle on his right side, and he's having problems, I am told from the team doctor, with a hip flexor, meaning he cannot get his thigh or his knee up above his waist. Now, he hasn't told me that he's going to not play the rest of the game. It's series to series, but he also said it's very doubtful.
No, it obviously is tender. And like I said, with those numbers, you had to think something was wrong with the young man. Sharp to the other side. Then Hanks again. Hanks has had a fine game defensively for the Florida Gators tonight.
Lynn Amity told me about Jermaine Sharp. He said he makes some things happen when he gets in the football game. They're trying to get him more involved. This may be his opportunity tonight. 5'10", 185-pound freshman out of Monroe, Louisiana. A lot of good things can come even if you lose a ball game when you're young and you find some people that can play.
Bishop and LaFleur, a 2 tight end alignment, 2 wide receivers to the short side of the field.
Yes.
And ran right by Hambrick, who had come up to the line of scrimmage, and is going to be stopped by Michael Gilmore at the 46, and that's good for the first down.
Well, he makes this entirely on his own, Jermaine Sharp, because Darren Hambrick, the outside linebacker's in a run position again. Watch him. No one will block him. The little move and then the dip inside was gave him the ability to make the first down. Michael Gilmore, number 35, on the tackle.
Hambrick had to be going whoops.
Let him run it again. Jermaine Sharp's hot.
This time, and Howard stepping up and run it. Out of bounds at the 50, and let's check in with Mike Tirico. Mike, what do you have for us?
Ron, let's take you back to the Pac-10, where USC is playing at Oregon. Rob Johnson on 3rd and goal to Johnny Morton. This is 2nd touchdown of the day. He's having a great season thus far. 6 touchdowns. He's 3rd among NCAA Division 1A receivers. Southern Cal leading by 11. Next week, it's Oregon State and homecoming.
So SC rolling, and the Ducks having a tough time of it. The heartbreaker last week, and now down at home. Pressure from the outside. You can see the blitz coming all the way, and it's Darren Hambrick.
It's that 8-man front again. When you bring him inside, you got to be able to block him. You got to be able to call something, some type of scheme to be able to pick him up. He just comes free. You got a tight end on that side. He must stay in the block. Harold Bishop went out on the route. Darren Hambrick, who's having a pretty fine football game in a substitute role.
Well, we mentioned that Monty Groh is the man that he's replacing. Monty injured his arm. In fact, is in his street clothes and standing across the way at the 30-yard line. He's gone for this game and for a few more, I'm afraid, for Gator fans. Ball almost picked off at the 45, and William Gaines, big number 94, is there again.
Well, they had a twist underneath, twist in the defensive line, and William Gaines really is not even going to rush. These two linemen are going to twist to try to get free on the pass rush. Number 94 then drops back out and is able, William Gaines, to tip the football.
Line drive kick to Kennedy. Fumbles it momentarily, and just long enough. How many times do you see this happen? And he'll take it out to the 42-yard line. 35 yards in the kick. Well, coming up next weekend here on ESPN, our first game of the triple header, Wisconsin at Purdue next Saturday, 12:30. Then the second game of the afternoon, we'll get a look at the #1 ranked Florida State Seminoles against number 18 Virginia. And we're not done. We'll head out to Provo, Utah. And the third game of the evening is number 4, Notre Dame against number 19, Brigham Young. That one beginning at 7:30 Eastern Time, all next week right here on ESPN. Red hit by Pullet.
Steve Spurrier makes the calls and also signals in.
It's Reggie Green, the big left tackle, the sophomore out of Bradenton, who has had an outstanding game. He is very graceful. Only a sophomore at 6'7", 289 pounds, and in that passing offense really does a nice job.
Well, he's the left tackle, which protects the blind side of the quarterback. Very important position.
And they're working on that right ankle.
There's about 10 zillion things going through Steve Spurrier's mind right now. This game, his tackle's hurt. Florida State's coming down the road. Playoff game. You know, all those things going through that man's mind.
Show there's a timeout. Let's take it. 10:57 left in the third. 23-3, the Florida Gators.
This is your world, genuine and true, working together in all that you do, and you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bud, Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Proud to be your bud. Ooh, yeah. Proud to be your. Proud to be your bud.
Love this place. It's the new Burger King Everyday Value Menu with big Flame Broiled burgers for only 99 cents.
I can't do it myself for 99 cents.
Your favorite Burger King foods at new lower everyday prices, like the Croissant Combo served hot and fresh for $1.99. Check your Burger King Everyday Value Menu and be sure to try the delicious Flame Broiled Whopper Combo for $2.99.
That's great news for my pocketbook.
Value every day. Have it your way.
You're going to want to come back every day.
The new four-wheel drive 175 horsepower Isuzu Rodeo. It's the vehicle some of you have been waiting for a long time. The Isuzu Rodeo, practically amazing.
ESPN's presentation of CFA is brought to you by Isuzu, makers of incredible four-wheel drives, and by Budweiser, fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your bud.
Well, continuing our highlights of the 100 years of LSU football, Burt Jones there from 70 through 72. He led the LSU to 3 bowl games, had a record of 26-6-1 during that period. He was a first-team All-American in 72 and was the first pick in the 73 draft. And who'd he go to, Michael? The Baltimore Colts. You know that.
Right.
His dad, Dub, played here also for the LSU Tigers.
Look at those numbers. 12 out of 16, 175 yards.
This is Dorian. And he'll be knocked out of bounds just across midfield. 78% of the offense tonight for Florida has come through the air. Just before that play, 175 yards passing, 226 total. There's Werfel up there to block for him. And he'll have 10 yards. Let's go down to the sideline to get an injury update from Adrian Karsten.
Well, after that play, there's a big smile on the face of Reggie Green, their starting offensive tackle, but he rolled his right ankle, Ron. There's a slight sprain. They have retaped it now. Again, he's going to be series to series, but they say expect to see him back in the game.
Okay, thanks, Adrian. Good hustle.
When they watch the tape tomorrow with the team, they'll get a big kick out of watching Danny Werfel there make the key block for Eric Rett.
Anthony Ingracia, number 51. You got to look at him just a second ago. Junior out of Washington, New Jersey. He's the man who replaces Reggie Green.
Showing blitz again, LSU. Here they come.
Good pickup by Rett that time, and he's going to go deep and wide along. Houston, touchdown, Florida.
They had to bust a coverage, O'Ron, because he's too wide open. And Eric Rett, again, when the checkoff was made by Danny Werfel, Eric Rett really picks up a good block. And Steve Spurrier has to like this. I mean, when you're blitzed, you like to be able, when people blitz you, to make them pay. Here comes the pressure. James Gilliard, and there's the block by Eric Rett. Harrison Houston, number 84, beats the inside Rodney Young. Now he's wide open man coverage. I mean, he's like Denny's, open all night.
Jed Davis knocks it home. So 10:21 left in the third quarter. Our new score, Florida 30 and LSU 3.
The new four-wheel drive 175 horsepower Isuzu Rodeo. It's the vehicle some of you have been waiting for a long time. The Isuzu Rodeo, practically amazing.
Morning. Okay, hold on.
Delta Faucet has over 1,000 different styles of faucets to choose from.
Just a sec.
So there's a Delta faucet that's right for everyone's needs.
Oh, okay, I'll get the food, you get the water.
Delta, the way water is brought to life.
And don't forget to turn it off.
Take a close look at a Kelly Springfield tire. Beneath every computer-designed tread, every perfectly aligned belt, every smooth riding body, and time-tested lining lies the first rubber tire that actually stayed on the wheel. From Kelly Springfield, America's oldest tire company.
30-3 our score. The number 5 ranked Florida Gators on top of this one. Harrison Houston, good reason for him to smile. He's already hit, well, he is on the century mark with that last one. 5 catches, 2 touchdowns tonight. This is Piggies. And he'll be tackled as he goes to the 20. In our open, you might have heard me say that probably the most famous run, not probably, it is the most famous at this university, is the Billy Cannon punt return in 1959 against Ole Miss. And that's who Adrian Karsten has down on the sideline.
Ron, I think worth one more look. It was Halloween night, October 31st, 1959, when Billy Cannon picked it up at the 11-yard line, and look at this. He starts to break 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, make that 10 potential tacklers. You ran over a still photographer, from what I understand. How many times have you seen that play?
Many a time, and the bad part about watching it now is that the film is turning yellow. We're going to have to send it over to Ted Turner and get it colorized or something.
You broke some rules. Weren't you told to stay away from that ball?
You're not supposed to catch those. Anything behind the 15. But, you know, that late in the game, you gotta take some chances.
To the present, Billy, it's fun to look back at even yellowing film. With all of the changeover in coaches, athletic directors, chancellors, how does a young man make a decision when he is being recruited here?
Well, it's just tough, you know, with a down program with the NCAA rules now, limiting scholarships, limiting 20 hours a week that you can work with a kid. We're going into 8 games of SEC play rather than 7. A lot of problems have come when your program is down. And to build it back up is just awful hard. And recruiting, of course, is the worst part of it.
Both of them very tough in this conference. Can Curley get it done here?
If he has a good year next year, he can. Off an exciting year, the first year, he did a great job recruiting. And since then, we've had some problems.
Look, they got an extra number 20 jersey over here. What do you think?
Lyndon Johnson said, "I will not seek and will not accept." Nice to be with you.
Thank you, Billy.
Okay, Billy Cannon. Those were the days, the late 50s. The LSU Tigers reigned supreme, and I'm sure that there are those who sit and watch tonight, both here in the stands and deep in the Bayou country, that simply say how the once mighty have fallen. Howard deep over the middle, going to be picked off, and Hambrick with his second. I'll tell you, Hambrick, for a guy coming off the bench replacing a very good player, has had already a heck of a football game.
Well, when you talk about players of the game, you know, you're going to have to fight Danny Werfel for the Florida player of the game. But I'll tell you, Darren Hambrick is going to make an effort on that. He has played outstanding, Ron. Play took too long to develop for Jamie Howard. Number 42, Darren Hambrick, is going to drop back, and then he's going to read the eyes of Jamie Howard. Shotgun, he knows he's got a passing situation. Play took a long time. Now he breaks to the middle, picks the football off. 6'2", 193-pound freshman.
Mawai, the center, the best of the offensive linemen for the LSU Tigers, shaken up, but as you can see, he's off the field under his own power, which is good news. The bad news is the Gators have the ball, 1st and 10, inside the 25. This is Belkey, the fullback, one of the rare few carries that he gets as Howard talks upstairs to Lynn Amity.
Florida defense has been maligned because of some big plays that they've given up, but tonight they've answered the challenge here against LSU.
Here's Hambrick. 2 interceptions for him tonight. He'll follow the snap, still get it back to Eric Rett. He'll turn the corner and touchdown.
That's the kind of night it's been for Florida, Ron. Fumble the snap and still turn it into a touchdown. Danny Werfel pulls out, fumbles the ball. Usually you're supposed to lose yardage on a play when that happens. Now watch Eric Rett just take off.
And Jim Davis gets it. So 3 times Florida has taken the ball over in LSU territory, and they have scored on each.
While other dealers are offering you their leftover 93 conversion vans, Roebuck Parkway Dodge will sell you a 94 conversion van for the same price that we've offered all summer, with up to $9,000 right off the sticker. Roebuck Parkway Dodge has over $2 million of conversion vans, with over 20 vans under $19,000, and many race-top vans with TVs under $20,000. Alabama's largest selection and definitely Birmingham's best buy. Over $2 million of 94 conversion vans, with up to $9,000 right off the sticker at Roebuck Parkway Dodge.
At Bull Building Supply in Jasper, we offer guaranteed low warehouse prices. That's why we're the largest independent building supply store in Alabama with over 8 acres of low prices. Do it right with a home light. Our handheld gas-powered blowers can make big jobs easier, and they're just $95.99. Our XL14 home light chainsaw with electric ignition and automatic chain oiling is just $123.99. Come to Bull Building Supply at 2900 Highway 78 West in Jasper. You'll get guaranteed low warehouse prices.
Start your NFL Sunday with the show the pros watch. ESPN NFL Game Day. Our pros will get you ready for a day of NFL excitement. ESPN NFL Game Day. Tomorrow at noon Eastern, only on ESPN.
Well, the track meet is on. 7:57 left in this third quarter, and Eric Rett, he climbed a little higher on the chart here. And we'll look at the company he is in there. Emmett Smith with 37, Neil Anderson 32, Eric Rett with 30. And with this much time left in the season, he's got a real good chance to become the new leader, Mike.
That's replacing some solid players.
Butler. And it looks like, yeah, Chad Luke will now come in at quarterback for the LSU Tigers. Brett's numbers, by the way, tonight: 14 carries, 75 yards, 1 touchdown.
And that's, well, you see dejection there, but this is still a young football season yet. I mean, there's still a lot of football to be played by this LSU football team.
Pitch comes to Sharp. Waits for the block, and now that hungry Florida defense. Hambrick again. Let's go down to Adrian Karsten.
A couple of quick injury updates for you, Ron. Kevin Moai was shaking it up, but he will shake it off, get back in the game. News not good, however, for tailback Jade Johnson. That sprained abdominal muscle I talked about earlier first half, well, that has really swollen up now. He can barely move his right leg. Definitely out for this game, potentially another couple.
He was the real spark plug early on in this football game for the LSU Tigers. Sharp comes out close to the 30 as Bates and Anthony Lott will combine in the stop.
Been a successful football coach in Southern Mississippi.
Third and short, they're going to throw it. Quick out pass, and he's got it. Did he stay in bounds yet? Eddie Kennison, he got turned all the way around, still made the receptions. Inside the 30, Kevin Carter, the first man. Kevin is a junior from Tallahassee.
Cameron Davis also in on the play, but this has been the story tonight, Ron. The defensive line, this is the third sack, but they've just controlled the line of scrimmage. And as I look at Curly Hallman, he turned the program around to Southern Miss, did a great job there. He's been an assistant in a lot of good programs. He's a good, solid football coach. Just got to keep building, keep bringing in players. The bad thing when you get in a track meet with the finesse team, they can run you out of here.
Before the snap, movement, offensive line.
I think that was Tommy Turner that came out of his stance. Yeah, you're right, and it's that defense. If you're a Florida Gator fan, a coach, or even a player, this is just what they needed. As you look at their coordinator on the far side of the field, they've had a lot of big plays scored over them, and I know Steve Spurrier has not been happy about it, but now they get to. There's blood in the water. They can be like sharks now. They can really go after it. Up 37-3. Movement again.
Flag on the play.
Dead ball, movement, offensive line.
Ron, the problem for Curly Hallman tonight, amongst a bunch of things, has been the fact that he hasn't been able to establish a running game. Lynn Amity, the offensive coordinator, wanted to try to keep Florida honest, but they've ran 27 times, 58 yards. They're only averaging 2.1 yards per carry rushing the football. You can't keep anybody honest that way.
Luke rolls the pocket this time, and he's just going to hold on to it. And it's going to be third down and still about 27, 28 yards to pick up the first down. Purdue and Minnesota tied up in a wild one tonight at the end of 3 quarters. Purdue 49-42.
Southern Cal holding on 24-13 with about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Would be a big win for John Robinson, and of course another tough loss, like you said, for the Ducks.
Yep. My coaches are having to admit every week now that the hash marks have really made a difference. Games, we've had a lot more high-scoring games than you can remember ever. Luke on third down. Nobody close. Lott flipping over the table, and great agility there to save himself over the top of that air conditioning unit.
Well, they're hitting everything that's moving. That air conditioning units, they're hitting that and it's standing still. The only thing that Florida has not done tonight is return a kick for a touchdown.
Well, Larry Kennedy is back to receive this one from Scott Holstein, and he's very capable of doing just that, the junior from Sarasota.
Originally signed with Ohio State, but didn't make the grade. And Ron Zuckman talked him into coming to Florida after he left Ohio State as an assistant coach.
On the run. And he'll be down at the 47. Let's check with Adrian again. Adrian?
Well, Ron, throughout the game tonight, we've taken the opportunity to look back at some of the greatest moments in the first 100 years of LSU football. Well, one of the greatest moments for all of us came yesterday morning when we were fortunate enough to bump into a very special lady. You're the fudge lady?
Candy lady, fudge lady.
All right, no, how long have you been doing it?
Since 1965.
Okay, now the fudge is just for the football team, I gather?
Well, I have to bring a package to the coaches because if I don't, they steal the boys' candy. Offense, defense.
All right, who are the bigger eaters?
Well, according to offense, defense. According to defense, offense. What you want, a biscuit?
Very good. The defensive line coach, naturally. Ron, that's defensive coordinator and defensive line coach Mike Bugard. Now, you know that they say defensive guys are always big eaters. I'll tell you what, I had to fight Coach Bugard for a taste of a couple of those biscuits, and you guys know that's about all I could eat while I was in town this weekend.
Yeah, right, Adrian.
That poor lady didn't know the trouble she was in with that fudge around him either, Adrian Karsten. In every program, you got somebody who really just wants to do something extra. It's very nice of that lady.
That's a nice story. A lot of time invested to a group of kids that she loves dearly. Right now, she wishes she could help more, either But they need a lot of energy at this point. Down 37-3, and we still got 3.5 minutes to play in the third quarter.
Now the problem, if you're LSU, Terry Dean's on the field, and he was the starter at the beginning of the year. 6'2", 204-pound junior quarterback. With 3:17 still left in the third quarter, I'm sure Steve Spurrier will let him throw the football.
Tony Davis replaces Rhett at tailback. Play action to him, and Dean, no place to run. Gets a good pickup block, and now throws it incomplete. Check in again with Mike Tirico. Mike.
Ron, we have a Heisman contender, Coe College in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Their running back, Carrie Bender, in the 69-7 win, 417 yards, Division I, 1AA, 2, 3, NAIA. Nobody's ever rushed for that many yards. He set a college football record.
Wow.
I've gotten beat that bad. What you need to do there is you just need to circle the wagons and protect the equipment, because there's nothing else you can do.
417 yards rushing, right? Goes on top. Got a man there. Touchdown, Florida. With the touchdown, and everybody's in the act now. 34 yards on that one.
That's the thing that's so impressive about this Florida team, is they got so many different receivers, but Ivory Hilliard, number 3, just underplays the ball. You see, jump too soon. See, number 3 just left the ground too early, underplayed it, and then Palmer was there for the touchdown pass.
Extra point. He hits it again, but this one goes through. So twice tonight, Judd Davis has hit that left upright. He missed the first time, and this time it's good. Now, the young man started out as the starting quarterback this year. He's one of the married students on this team.
And I believe he's from Baron Collier High School in Naples, Florida. Terry Dean. Had a friend down there named Clyde Quinby, who in 1989 told me about this young man. He said he's going to be a nice prospect for college football.
Check in with Adrian Karsten real quickly here.
Ron, Coach just mentioned Terry Dean. Interesting situation. We all know that John Sacca this week decided to transfer. Now word this week that Terry Dean, listed as the #1 quarterback at the start of camp, is making noise about transfer himself, but because he has only 1 year of eligibility remaining, he'd have to go like to run AA rather than sit out a year. Interesting, this was Spurrier's very first player to commit when he took over in January of '90.
Big East takes it out across the 25 to the 28-yard line.
Even though he was the first player recruited by Steve Spurrier, you're always going to face competition in college football, college basketball, any sport, because somebody's always going to come to your campus, and they're going to have an opportunity to challenge you for the job. That's the competition that makes the sport great.
Well, it's a tough situation when you sit and you wait. He was behind Shane Matthews. And now he thought it was his time. He's done great in the classroom, has a cumulative 3.9 grade point average. He's been right there. But he was inconsistent. Spurrier pulled him. As you look at Jermaine Sharp bouncing to the outside, you were saying?
I think Steve Spurrier, when we look at him, as I said, his system, he's got an excellent system. When we were down there last year, the year before, and I watched him on the practice field, he coaches the quarterbacks, and he coaches them methodically, because on the field, the different things that he works with the quarterbacks are very well skilled, and they understand their offense. And so his system is one of the better ones in the country.
Jermaine Sharp will take it in the vicinity of the 35. Now, Steve Spurrier's career, 64 through 66, almost 5,000 yards passing, 36 touchdowns. That's at the University of Florida then with San Francisco, 5,200 yards, 33 touchdowns, and a short stay in Tampa, 16-28, 7 touchdowns there. Pretty well speaks for itself. Jamie Howard back to pass, stumbles, and it plops it down.
When things go bad, they go bad.
Holstein on 4th down comes in to punt. As you look at Werfel, he's got the pads off. We're not going to see him again tonight. Sorolla Palmer is the man back deep. He scored the touchdown just a moment ago. Out of bounds at the 43. Well, NFL Game Day, noon Eastern time, and no football Sunday complete without ESPN's NFL Game Day. And tomorrow's top stories, the Eagles' resiliency. They're off to a 4-0 start. Also a feature on Ronnie Lott. Then NFL Prime Time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. All the day's scores and highlights, including the Eagles. And they start the season 5-0. The fastest 60 minutes in television, ESPN's NFL Prime Time. Both tomorrow, right here. This is Mobley. Breaks the tackle nicely and goes across midfield, close to the first down, and that'll be the last play of this third quarter. The first down, they stopped that clock momentarily.
Still should be the last play of the first quarter.
And that's it. So let's take a break.
Third quarter.
Final 15 is coming up from Baton Rouge.
The third period, the score, Florida 3.
In the year 23,012 BC, Lenny, the traveling salesman, rented the first big round wheel from Thrifty at a nice small rate. Today, Thrifty Car Rental still offers historically low rates and now on nice big cars with 4 wheels. Simply check your phone book for the Thrifty location nearest you. Renting wheels at low prices is nothing new to Thrifty. In fact, we invented it. Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates.
It's chasing after something you may never catch. It's hit or miss, and some days it's more miss. It's disappointing, it's dangerous, it's never, ever boring. In other words, it's exactly like a cowboy's life. At Wrangler, we know cowboys. Our jeans were invented by them. Wrangler, the Western original.
It's a round world, genuine and true. It keeps on spinning and you always come through. And you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bud. Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Proud to be your bud. Ooh, yeah. Proud to be your Proud to be your bud.
More Americans trust Napa for everything they need to keep their vehicles running and to help them save, too. Get this Napa Power Battery for just $29.99 after rebate. An Evercraft 30-piece socket set is just $14.99. And a 3-pack of STP gas treatment is a low $1.99. So run into your nearest Napa Auto Parts store today.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
The new four-wheel drive 175 horsepower Isuzu Rodeo. It's the vehicle some of you have been waiting for a long time. The Isuzu Rodeo, practically amazing.
Do it again. Well, we're back for the final 15 minutes. The fourth quarter here at Baton Rouge. And now there are the numbers. 44-3, the number 5 ranked Florida Gators over LSU. Mobley hit at the line of scrimmage. That's a nice defensive play there. Miller steps up with Gilliard.
The coaching staff at LSU now, all you're looking for is guys to play now through a tough time. See who's not going to give up. See who's going to play hard. Just continue to get better. That's all you can do. Michigan State scored at 8. George Perlis with a big win, Ron.
Well, that is, to me, the stunner of the year. I look at Michigan and Michigan's talent, and I still say, and this is no ill respect to Notre Dame, Michigan should be undefeated. I don't see them losing a football game. It's just incomprehensible.
Big win by George Perlis. Oklahoma beat Texas, of course, today. And they're talking about moving that game out of the Cotton Bowl, right?
Gary Gibbs ended the drought at 4 straight. Peter Gardner graduated, and he got a win today. Gerald Frazier this time on the receiving end. You know, it's interesting if they would take a traditional game like that and move it out of Dallas, out of the Cotton Bowl. I think Oklahoma would be silly to do that, because if you look at their roster today, 41 players from the state of Texas. That means you only come into the state once every 2 years. For starters, your recruiting base, Kenny Road, plus the fact it's equal distance. I know it's in the state of Texas, but that's a great tradition there.
It's a tradition. Like to see him keep it. 4th and 1. Looks like Florida's going to go for it. They had 44-3.
Tony Davis this time turns the corner. He'll have the first down. Yeah, I have a feeling there are a lot of coaches in the Southwest Conference that would be happy if they moved it to a home-and-home basis rather than Oklahoma coming into state every year. Inside the 20-yard line. Tony, a sophomore out of Chipley, Florida. Now here's the remaining schedule for the Florida Gators.
All of a sudden, this one becomes interesting.
Yeah,
of course,
Michael.
they've got the big one down here, and then you've got to add probably, unless something happens, there's a team from Tuscaloosa that may be waiting down there at the end on this schedule too.
17 yards on that last play. Fake to reverse, and Davis gets by a couple of tacklers. Got a good ability to make people miss. Gabe Northern finally wraps him up. About to go under 12 minutes left in this one. 44-3, and here's the remaining schedule for LSU. The 2 away games at Kentucky and at Alabama. But then at home, they get Ole Miss, Tulane, and Arkansas.
This will be an interesting ball game right here, because Danny Ford just keeps getting that team better. They got beat today 28-14, but they played well. I had a chance to watch that ball game, and they played the game and had some tough breaks in the ball game. But wait till he gets out and gets a chance to recruit and bring some more players into Arkansas. He'll get them back.
The marker come down as the pass is thrown to Palmer, and he's knocked out of bounds, but he will have the first down.
Each pass is complete to Palmer. Hawkins made the tackle.
Talk about more and more scoring this year. I see more and more big scores.
I'll tell you what I'm checking on just a moment ago. Purdue and Minnesota, I thought it said 49-49 in the fourth quarter. We're going to double check that real quickly.
Southern Cal's beating Oregon. It's the final, right? 24-13.
And that score is correct. We're told 49 each, Minnesota and Purdue in the fourth quarter. Cincinnati over Vanderbilt 7-3 at the end of three quarters. Now we got 8:27 left up in Minnesota. 49-49. Pass on the run to Palmer. His name's way on down the list as far as receivers, but he's a good-looking young kid.
They just continue to throw receivers at you. Terry Dean getting a chance now to throw the football here in the fourth quarter.
Well, here are the drives tonight for touchdowns. 6 of them, average 44 yards. Average time, 1 minute and 13 seconds. Dean will go to the 7, and I think he's going to have the first down.
Read you that statistic off the top, Ron, when I said there's 5 coaches who have been here since '79 at LSU. Average 2.8 years. Stability sometimes is needed so you can see your program through.
The 5, and Wayne will score. Redshirt freshman from Brooksville, Florida.
Terry Dean with a handoff to Dwayne Mobley, number 23, reverses. Ryan Huffman, number 15, misses him. Mobley into the end zone, and now there's 50 points are on the board.
Jed Davis, let's see if he can get that left upright again. He knocks this one home. So there's a break in the action. 51-3 Florida. We'll be right back.
State Farm presents the rules of the game.
We're talking about legal forward passes. In this play, the quarterback threw 2 forward passes. Is this play legal?
There are lots of reasons to buy life insurance. Here are 2 great ones. I'm State Farm agent Mike Foley. As the Goff family has grown, so have their life insurance needs. That's why we get together for family insurance checkups. I make sure to explain all the options, then they decide on the plan that's right for them. Ask your State Farm agent for a family insurance checkup. It's a great way to learn about life.
We're talking about legal forward passes. In this play, the quarterback threw the ball forward twice. This is a foul, as a team may make only 1 forward pass.
Rules of the Game has been brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Just northwest of Kalispell, Montana, there's a place where you can punch cattle instead of a time clock and discover what horsepower is really about. It's the Hargrave Cattle and Guest Ranch, where you can ride them and rope them like they used to. But if you go, you got to pull your own weight and pull out your Visa card. Because at Hargrave, they don't take the tin horns and they don't take American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
ESPN's presentation of CFA is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Mobley gets his first touchdown of the night, so he joins what has now become quite a parade. 51-3, number 5 Florida. manhandling LSU, and we still have 9:48 left in this one. Robert Davis, first time we've seen him tonight. Davis with a nice return out to the 37-yard line, good for 32. Boy, here's a young fella that this time last year, Mike, when we were in here, he was the heralded one. He's out of Birmingham, a sophomore, 5'10", 185, and they thought that he was going to be the next answer as far as helping lead this team.
Now he's fourth on the depth chart.
Heisman hopefuls today, and this is how they performed. Charlie Ward in that big win by Florida State over Miami. 21 of 31, 256 yards and 2 touchdowns. One of those a run. Heath Schuler of Tennessee today, 28-14 win over Arkansas. He was 19 of 26, 307 yards, 3 touchdowns for him. Marvin Graves next week against Pitt. And you see his numbers on the season. And Tyrone Wheatley in a loss to Michigan State, and boy, 33 yards on 11 carries. Not a good day for Ty.
If this was a horse race, they'd call it, because Charlie Ward is almost at the finish line. And the jockey is not using his whip.
Throws over the middle to David LaFleur. It's only his second reception of the year. He'll take it out to the 45. Throw a swing pass, too much pressure on him. Still looking, gets it away now, and too tall. Robert Davis is the man. He wanted to throw the pass to him initially anyway. And then on the second opportunity to do it, just a little too tall. Cameron Davis and Carter.
Texas Tech and NC State in a big game tonight in the second quarter. BYU plays UCLA tonight, right? Should be started.
BYU, one of the teams that we're covering next week as the Irish go out there. The pass is complete to LaFleur, and the tight end gets away from the tackler, takes it inside the 45. 13 on that one. David's a redshirt freshman out of Westlake, Louisiana.
They've got some nice-looking tight ends in Harold Bishop, David LaFleur, and Chris Hill, number 89. They play 3 tight ends.
Takes it to Davis, going to go up on top. Looking for Kinnison, and Kinnison well covered twice. McCorkle and also Malone down in the end zone.
They're not going to let Eddie Kinnison in this situation get behind anybody.
You know, he got a shoulder injured, and you could see as he was running back, he wasn't moving that right arm, Mike.
Kendrick Malone, pretty good shape to intercept it.
In fact, he got knocked down on that right shoulder. Maybe that's another reason that when he was coming off, he was not moving that arm back and forth in a turning motion. Jimmy Howard, someplace to run. Yeah, he finds it, now gets it away.
He's behind. He passed the line of scrimmage too, Ron.
Kennedy came up and blasted Robert Davis, but it's an illegal forward pass.
Yeah, he was 2 yards in front of the sticks.
here are the numbers on Kennison tonight. 3 receptions, has 1 return. The 3 receptions for 46 and 1 return for 20. And of course, that's a total of 66. And they were hoping that he would, you know, have much better output than that. But it's been a case where the Florida defense swarming tonight and pressure on the quarterback, and it's been extremely difficult. Let me change one thing that I said. I had the Florida quarterback Terry Dean as married. He is engaged. Slipped on the Florida field and proposed to his fiancee, and they'll be married next spring. So they're engaged but not married yet.
Well, the gal that he's going to marry is probably pretty happy that you said that tonight.
And he's got a complete pass to Wilson. Cedric Wilson inside the 25, and that will be good for the LSU first down.
Can you imagine? Her phone's probably ringing right now from her parents asking what happened.
And we never got those gifts yet.
Some irate parents after Ron Franklin tonight.
Oh, come on. Oh, my. Under 8 minutes to play in this one. 51-3, Florida.
Surprised you heard it on ESPN.
Hey, listen, thanks a lot, Bino. So you know, to be plowing up Florida field. David LaFleur on the receiving end of that one as Matt Pearson comes up to make the hit on him. BYU and UCLA on the board now. Mike, 12-19 remaining first quarter, no score. Of course, that game is on the coast of UCLA. Knocked away with a nice defensive play by Darren Hambrick. You know, Hambrick, for as well as many offensive players have played tonight, he's got to get some votes for player of the game.
He'll get a half of my vote. But Jamie Howard, 13 completions, 23 attempts, 132 yards, of course, 2 interceptions. But again, I'm going to go back to the fact that they couldn't establish a running game to help him. So Jamie Howard hasn't had that bad a night. Ron, go back to the player of the game. I'll give a half a vote for Hambrick and a half a vote for the quarterback, Danny Werfel. Now you break it.
In the flat, and he's got it to Kennison.
As in the TV business, I'm learning they're saying not so fast to me in the truck, that they already have the winner pick. So not so fast on my half vote.
Probably would vote for Terry Dean's fiance and apologize. By the way, the 51 points by Florida ties a record for the number of points in an SEC game by the Gators. Under 6.5 to play.
They moved again on offense. They just can't sit in there. They're trying to help themselves on pass protection. They've been whipped all night. In the offensive line, they're always trying to gain an advantage, Ron, and try to get back on those heels.
That was dead ball. Illegal movement, offensive line, 5 yards.
Officials are now into overtime pay.
Jimmy's been a good one for a long time in this league. You see the patch on the left shoulder of Jamie Howard. That's the centennial placard that they put together, the insignia, for the 100 years of LSU football. Looking pass over the middle, Kennison again. And 41 Ed Robinson comes in to make the stop on him. So they do not pick up the 4th down play. And the Florida Gators will come on the field. So let's take a break. 5:45 left in this one.
This year during the World Series, Budweiser will bring you the game within the game. The Budweiser World Series Classic. To play, go to your favorite store, look for this sign, and pick up an official game card. Then catch the Budweiser Classic play during each game of the World Series. Each one's worth $100,000. Who knows? You could make the greatest play of the series.
Cats.
If you could step back far enough, you could see this country as one big machine. Always moving, changing, working, with a pause now and then. Held together by the belts and pulleys of highways and back roads, and running on the desire that each day will be a little better than the last. And if you looked in close at how this machine works, in every turn of every gear, you'd see a Ford F-Series. The best-selling full-size pickup 16 years running. It's the truck more people keep turning to get down to business or get them far from it. And whether your part of the machine is running fence line or running errands, you'll find Ford F-Series pickups are designed and built to do it with no questions asked, which keeps this big machine of ours running that much better. And to think, you thought it was just a truck. Ford F-Series, the #1 selling truck, is built Ford tough.
Good look at Jamie Howard on the near sideline as the fourth down play did not go the distance. So just under 6 minutes to play, and the score, Florida 51 and LSU 3. Mikan is next as they come to the line of scrimmage. We'll pick up, you know, the umpire is the man just across the line of scrimmage in the middle. He is standing at the 20-yard line. You see him left of your screen. That's Joe Federspiel, Lexington, Kentucky, former linebacker with the Saints. Remember that name? There he is running into the group.
Jerome Evans, carry.
Presser is in at quarterback as you look at Joe. Danny Werfel on the sideline, and he took his shoulder pads off some time ago.
Seems like it's awful hot to have a jacket on.
He's got a wrap around his stomach. I'm sure the wrap is up on his arm, I know, but just to keep the body warm. He threw a lot of passes.
Well, illegal procedure, substitution violation, white team.
By the way, one other note on Joe Federspiel, and it's true with all of these guys, particularly after having played high school, college, and pro, you really got to love the game to come back and put on the stripes. It's not a loved position necessarily, is it? These guys do a heck of a job.
You kidding me? They make a lot of money to get a free ticket to the game. You got to be kidding me. They love it.
This is Terrence Foy on the carry, and he's close to the first down out at the 25-yard line.
People throw things at them. I mean, they get a lot of attention.
Eric Kresser at quarterback, the redshirt freshman out of Palm Beach Gardens, 6'2", 206 pounds. Played against Arkansas State. That's the only game he's played. It was 2 for 5 in that one for 11 yards. He saw action for 9 total downs in that one. Here comes Foy, and he'll be out to the 31-yard line.
Foy, made the tackle for the Tigers. Stansberry, also in under the tackle.
Trying to get an update on that Minnesota and Purdue game.
Minnesota was ahead the last time I looked.
It was just under 3 minutes to play. Vanderbilt's now gone on top of Cincinnati 10-7.
Get a chance, if you're Florida, to look at a lot of young players. Curly Hallman still coaching.
2 minutes remaining. Purdue has just tied it up. Purdue 56, Minnesota 56.
A lot of defense in that one.
Have a lot of three-point shooting. That one on the money, and it's complete at the 46-yard line to Darrell Frazier. Back Mike, I know you were interested in BYU UCLA midway of the first quarter. Still no score there out on the coast.
That'll be a good test for Notre Dame and Lou Holtz next week. So Notre Dame plays a very tough schedule, and to go to Provo, Utah, it's not easy to win out there.
No, it's not.
Good passing game by BYU, Lavelle Edwards.
Well, does a good job in the big games as well, don't you think?
Solid football coach.
Under 3 minutes to play here in Baton Rouge. Pressure on top, got a man wide open. It's Palmer again. Almost gets by the last tackler, and it's 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. Talby Crawford finally put an end to the play. 46 yards in the pass play.
Well, this is your 3rd quarterback in now throwing the football. Eric Kresser, number 15, right on the money. The Palmer, number 17. Tackle made by Talby Crawford, number 9. Back in scoring position again, Ron, at the 8.
Draw play, and he will not make it to the 6-yard line.
I want to check here with Fred over there, see how many plays Florida has run tonight. They came into the game averaging 79 plays a game. What's the total number of plays they've run tonight? Because they've completely controlled the clock, had big plays. Eric Brett, 14 rushes, 75 yards. Mike Bugar, the defensive coordinator, long night.
The block, and he'll score.
Jerome Evans, number 34, with a good block. And you're looking at the 3rd tailback. Terrence Foy, number 5, scoring. Happy young man. Practices all week to get a chance to score a touchdown.
Eric Brett, one of the first men there to welcome him, as Judd Davis will come on and try another one.
There'll be better days for this LSU football team. They've got to regroup, get ready for next week. I can tell you, Ron, from experience, it's no fun being on that other side.
Showed us a timeout. 1:38 left in the ball game.
Lazy Boy, America's #1 preferred brand of recliners, are now on sale at Gilchrist Brothers in Graysville. You can save up to $100 at Gilchrist Brothers on genuine Lazy Boy furniture. Because they're independently owned with low overhead, you pay only for the furniture, not the fancy building. Prices start at $279. Visit our huge showroom with over 100 chairs in stock to select from, like this Chase recliner at $379. And you get free delivery. We're at 86 First Avenue Southeast, just off Highway 78 in Graysville.
Who has more used trucks and more used vans than any other dealer in Alabama? Well, if you answered Roebuck Parkway Dodge, you're absolutely right. All kinds of low-mileage vans, conversion vans, plain vans, work vans, and family vans. All kinds of low-mileage trucks, work trucks, fun trucks, big and small trucks, imports and demonstrators. And they're all priced at Birmingham's Best Buys. While you're there, ask to see the all-new Dodge Pickup. Alabama's largest selection of used trucks and used vans, and Birmingham's Best Buys are always at Roebuck Parkway Dodge.
Governed by 3 laws of motion. 1. Bodies in linear motion will continue in a straight path unless acted upon by another force. 2. A direct relationship exists between acceleration and force. 3. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Of course, some events fall into the realm of chaos theory. A force best represented as ESPN 2.
58-3, our score. Florida on top. Here's an update for you, Mike, from the coast. UCLA has gone on top of BYU 3-0 in the first quarter with 8:01 remaining in that first quarter. And his kick. This is Kinnison. He wants to give it a shot. Wow. Well, tonight's Visa players of the game are from the University of Florida. Danny Werfel, his numbers, 14 of 18, 221, 4 touchdowns. And from LSU, defensive right end Corey White, 4 tackles, 3 assists. And as part of their continuing effort to further the development of amateur athletics, Visa is proud to donate $1,000 to each of these universities and $1,000 to the U.S. Olympic team on behalf of these athletes. He's at quarterback. And let's go down to Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, it's actually up to Adrian Karsten. I invited all my friends up here to Section 29 to come and sit with me, but obviously I guess some of them had a few other things to do. Now, look, granted, late in the fourth quarter is kind of a blowout situation. You know, back in the 70s and the 80s, there were days and nights in Death Valley when they would put over 80,000 people in here. But tonight, the attendance was only 60,060. You know what they're talking about doing now? Raising the price of this ticket here from $22 to who knows what, and adding 1,500 seats. I think until they get back to some happier days in Death Valley here, they can put those plans on the back burner.
Yeah, I think you're right, Adrian. This is, and you know, and this is the toughest thing on this man right here. He doesn't need any losses, let alone the worst loss in the history of the program. But Mike, things now come down to almost to total economics, and when there's 60,000 in the stadium, it holds close to 20,000 more, then it really accentuates and puts it under the microscope even more. I'm not saying that's right or fair, but that's it.
No, it's not fair. But what you need right now, as again I talked about earlier, you need continuity. You need to just continue to try to get better.
Riggins was shaken up, and now Florida.
Second down. Short yardage for the Tigers.
Riggins goes off the field under his own power. We have 1:15 left in this one, mercifully. 58-3, the Florida Gators. Davis comes out to the 42-yard line. 24 yards. We're under 1 minute left in this one. Florida has a game next week that I'm not sure they know totally what they're getting into, because people keep saying, well, is Auburn for real? You know, how tough has that schedule been? But they're undefeated, which is truly the bottom line.
This Florida team's been impressive tonight, Ron. I'll tell you, they're a solid football team. They've got good defensive players. They've been stung a little bit with a long ball, but defensively, they're pretty talented. Offensively, the way they're playing with Danny Werfel and Eric Rett and the array of receivers they have, they're going to be tough to beat.
You know, that should be the last play of this ball game, as the clock is ticking down under 10 seconds left in this one. And, yep, I don't think LSU will be able to get off another one. So that's it from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge with a final score, Florida 58 and LSU 3. For Mike Gottfried, Adrian Karsten, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Ron Franklin saying good night. The College Football Scoreboard is next.
A week on the coast. And all she remembers is the hotel swimming pool.
I sometimes think my Taurus is safer than my living room.
I fill the entire back with groceries. And they still say there's nothing to eat.
For so many people, for so many reasons, Ford Taurus, the best-selling car in America.
For all of you with the courage to go it alone, to put your future on the line and your name on the door, there's the corporate card from American Express. Use it for all your business expenses. We'll organize them by category and even provide records of charges. It's a great way for any company to get a handle on costs. Call 1-800-SUCCESS. The corporate card to your success.
This
This may seem like any other day, but it's not. Because now people will be able to talk to one another in a brand new way. That's because across the U.S. and Canada, leading cellular communications companies have joined together to create MobileLink, a new standard in cellular service. So now, whenever you need to stay in touch, MobileLink will make it as simple as a phone call. MobileLink.
Hello? I'm glad you called.
It's simply the way to communicate. To order, call 1-800-995-4000.
Come fly the airline that spans more than half the world. United. Come fly the friendly skies.
Hi there, welcome to our post-game scoreboard show. I'm Chris Fowler, along with the Coach Lee Corso, the Pony Craig James. If you stuck it out through that ball game, we thank you for your loyalty. We've got about 55 minutes of scoreboard show. We'll take you till 11:30, and a lot to talk about what may be called a payback Saturday. First of all, games in progress. The 19th-ranked Cougars of BYU with Notre Dame next week at home, visiting the Rose Bowl and UCLA. Terry Donahue trying to climb out of a hole. He started off 0-2, and his team really has played well since that point. John Walsh here, dropping back, picked off by Teddy Lawrence. The nice return will set up a field goal by Bjorn Merton. The 46-yarder, one of two Merton field goals in the first quarter. Bruins unable to punch it into the end zone, so the interception by Walsh doesn't hurt BYU that much. Bruins, by the way, giving up only one interception all year. As we told you, it's 6-zip as the Cougars try to go to 5-0 with Notre Dame coming in next week, UCLA at 2-2. They are midway in the first quarter, and we'll keep you posted throughout the next hour. Cal State Northridge and UNLV 7-zip for the visiting Northridge team early on in the first quarter. Utah, only one offensive touchdown in the last two games coming in, but they lead by a touchdown over Los Lobos at halftime. Tulane and Southwestern Louisiana 29-8. The Green Wave going down once again. They are 2 seconds into the fourth quarter, and Tulane in deep trouble, dropping to 2-4 if they can't come back. The Miners and Wyoming 19-19 halftime tie. Ryan Yarborough, the brilliant receiver, keeps it going, a 56-yard touchdown catch. Texas Tech and NC State 27-24. A wild game in Lubbock as the Wolfpack tries to come back. It's now late in the third quarter. Red Raiders by a field goal. Vanderbilt and Cincinnati 17-7. Vanderbilt apparently on their way to the second victory of the year if they can hold on. A very ugly game. 127 to play in that ball game. Now to the big one, Miami and Florida State. This will not be one of the more memorable games in the series. It doesn't have an indelible moment like the last couple of years with the wide right field goals. But for Florida State fans, this will be one of the sweetest wins in the history of the series. Florida State in the first quarter, first series. Sean Jackson takes off around right end, sheds some tacklers. He will get a great downfield block by Matt Fryer right there on the safety, Paul White. Stays in bounds, 7-zip Florida State just minutes into the contest. First quarter now. 3rd and goal on the 6th. Miami looking for the tying touchdown, and Frank Costa finds Donnell Bennett, who breaks away from the linebacker. 7-7, the Hurricanes right back in it. But this is a big play on 3rd and 10 from the 28, Charlie Ward. Breaks out of the pocket. Looks deep for Matt Fryer, who got behind Rohan Marley, the linebacker. They're not going to catch him. 14-7 Seminoles at that point. Second quarter now. 2nd and goal on the 2. Mr. Ward out of the shotgun. The great mobility that sets him apart from other quarterbacks. Scampers in. 21-7 Seminoles at the break. Fourth quarter now. It's 28-10. Miami desperately trying to get back in the ball game, but Devin Bush steps in, picks off Costa. 41 yards for the touchdown. The 4th defensive touchdown by the Seminoles this year. Meanwhile, that defense has allowed 3 touchdowns. National championship, part 1, not so fast. They have plenty of work to do to win that elusive national title, but a very, very big step in that direction, 28-10. Steve Cyphers covered the game in Tallahassee. He has this report.
Thanks, Chris. Following the game, Bobby Bowden wasn't exactly gloating. Instead, he chose to talk about the mistakes and the penalties that cost his Seminoles. Still, on the other hand, when pressed, he did admit that beating Miami has its advantages.
I'm so used to this ball game, going home, pouting all night long, getting up and having to do that television show, and fussing all through that darn thing. Yeah, come back and have to explain to y'all why we lost it. This will be so odd coming in tomorrow not have to do that. It is different, baby.
I'd like to congratulate Bobby and Florida State. They got a great football team, and they played great today, and I'm proud of our guys. I thought they played hard, and you just can't give up plays, and you got to take advantage of breaks when you get them, and we just couldn't do that here in Tallahassee today. So all I can do is congratulate them.
I still don't say that they deserve the #1 ranking, because I say that we're still #1.
I think we deserve the respect of Miami. Every little kid out there in the nation, all the barbershops, AP, USA Today. Hey, we national champs. We #1 in the nation.
Of course, a win over Miami in and of itself does not guarantee a national championship, but here in Tallahassee, it is one whale of a start. Chris?
Steve, you know, Donnell Bennett, Florida State is #1. You guys aren't #1. And the Seminoles finally put to rest that heart question that Miami had kept jabbing with them about not having a heart in the fourth quarter.
Well, they had it. Florida State won this game in the fourth quarter because of an aggressive defense, and that's why they won the game. If you'll notice one thing here, the defense outscored the team's offense in the fourth quarter. This is the third straight year Florida State's offense has not scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter against Miami, but they won because of defense in this ball game.
Yeah, and also, Coach, last year the Seminoles had only 67 yards rushing. Today, pounded out 194, and their average was 6.5. Sean Jackson had the long touchdown run, but Ward Dunn, do I like him? He had a good day, too.
Every time Dunn carries the ball, you're up and jumping around the studio.
All over it.
And the best news, they didn't miss an extra point. Scott Bentley, 4 for 4. Still, though, has not made a pressure kick. Might it come down to that in South Bend? Because you could talk about National Championship Part 1. They have still a tough gauntlet ahead of them.
No question. They still have to play 3 undefeated teams. They play Virginia at home, then they go to Notre Dame in the snow, and Florida State, where Spurrier's not lost a game. And I told you guys, watch Spurrier tonight at LSU, didn't I? That Florida team's good.
Yeah, but look at Florida State. This team is a ball club that's always had to pick themselves up after a big-time loss to Miami. Now they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. They've always excelled after the poor defeat. Now they can see that national championship. They will be ready when they go there.
But still no room for any kind of a mental letdown with that schedule after they play Virginia. It's Wake Forest and Maryland. Okay, we'll grant you they can have a letdown in those 2 ball games, but it's still, as Lee said, 3 tough tests ahead. When we come back, we'll talk about Michigan and Michigan State. The team that's won the ground war in this series in the past 2 decades has won the ball game, and today it was not the Wolverines winning that ground battle. Reminder, our final score, painful reminder, 58-3 Gators.
You know, there's one thing that most sporting events have in common. When you see this R, the player's wearing a Russell Athletic NFL Pro Line jersey. Hi, Warren.
Hey, Joe.
Russell Athletic is also the official uniform supplier of Major League Baseball. They even outfit most major college and high school teams. In fact, Russell Athletic even makes great sweats and tees for the rest of us. Unfortunately, not everybody's gotten to work.
Russell Athletic. It's everything we make that makes our sweats and tees so great.
Hold on. I don't just overnight the package.
Yeah, sure. Overnight it. Might as well overnight it.
Overnight this.
Overnight the overnight.
Overnight.
Sometimes overnight is overkill. So kick the habit with Priority Mail from the Postal Service. It's not overnight, but it's fast delivery, special handling, and 2 pounds is only $2.90.
Morning. Thanks.
When overnight is overdoing it, remember, we deliver for you. Call and we'll start today.
Corning presents an exciting debut, Pink Plus, a new insulation that's silky to the touch. The reason? Pink Plus is our famous pink fiberglass insulation wrapped in smooth pink poly, which also makes it extra easy to install. So get in touch with a premier insulation. For the Pink Plus dealer nearest you, call 1-800-GET-PINK.
At BASF, we don't make the skates. We make them ride smoother. We don't make the shampoo. We make it gentler. We don't make the music. We make it clearer. We don't make the surfboard. We make it stronger. At BASF, we don't make a lot of the products you buy. We make a lot of the products you buy better. BASF.
College Football Scoreboard is brought to you by Budweiser. Fresh, pure, natural. Proud to be your Bud.
Welcome back to our post-game scoreboard show. The wildest game of the season so far tonight in the Metrodome, Purdue and Minnesota. Here's the situation of this ballgame. It was tied at 56 in the final minute. Would have been the highest score.